Well, you don't have to be on your one, do you?
But I mean, like, for it to be in.
Well, a positive Friday. How are you? And welcome to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X, Instagram, of course, sports1440.ca. You can get the app, iHeartRadio, as well as Stingray and the Radio Player app, wherever you're at. Can't get you out of your head. So there you go. I like it. Happy Friday. It's warming up. That's good. Real good. Not too warm, though. I like it below zero. We don't need all the smog, especially when there's a high percentage of people still struggling with the turn your lights on concept. So, well, every day, that's going to be our goal this winter. Every day, one or two more people listening will be like, oh, I got to get my lights on. And that's your tail lights, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. Get them on. Keep them on. You will then be a thumbs up citizen. Like, we might have to get a sticker, right? Might have to get a Sports 1440 thumbs up, your lights are on sticker. I know how to turn my lights on. Now, I don't know if that's a sticker people would want to put on, but it would be funny. It would be funny for sure. Oilers victorious last night against the Boston Bruins. So they had 5-game stretch where they played Tampa and Boston and Florida and Minnesota. And who am I missing? Florida, Boston, Minnesota, Vegas. And they went 4-1, and their only loss was by 1 goal. So they'd be pretty happy with that stretch of 5 games. Now they want to finish it off. San Jose tomorrow afternoon. Macklin Celebrini. Did you see that move? The spin move he put on Sammy Girard last night? Looking forward to watching this kid live in person tomorrow. And then the Ottawa Senators come to town on Sunday afternoon. A little extra special, meaningful game for myself. Watch your nephew live. The Sens are playing great. And although if I'm Travis Green and they're going into Vancouver tomorrow, I'm playing Allmark in Vancouver. And then, you kind of roll the dice with Forsberg, 3rd game in 4 nights. And, hey, anything can happen for sure. But I don't know if I would save Allmark. He's playing great. But I used to be the head coach of the Vancouver Canucks. I want to beat the Vancouver Canucks. And right now, if all things are considered and everybody was playing to their potential, you have a better chance of beating Vancouver than you do beating Edmonton right now, the way the Oilers are playing. So we'll see what he does, but we'll find out tomorrow. If indeed Allmark, who's 7-0 in his last 7 starts, his goals against average below 1, only allowed 7 goals. Like, he is killing it. Played overtime, so his goals against is just slightly below. It's had 2 shutouts, and they go into Calgary. Are victorious last night. Man, there's a lot of guys. Just like Nugent Hopkins got a cut in his face. Ekholm's got a cut in his nose. Hyman's nose was like a bag of chips getting reset. You see Brady Tkachuk last night. See him sporting. Got the stitches in the lip and lost a tooth. Like, been a tough run here for some guys with some facial issues for sure. Hey, Gregor, lights on for 1440. I like that. You can do it. I'm not even joking. I think we might have to look at something like that. I think it'd be great. Have your lights. It's safer for everybody, right? That's what we want. Lights on. Everybody can do it. Now, also today, Pyramid of Giving, our final one. We're helping out Adopt a Teen. And you know what I love about our listeners is we have people who have been waiting to donate for this because Adopt a Teen means something to them. Delhi, hey guys, I've been waiting. $1,000. Want to help the teens? Thank you very much. Pyramid of Giving. Attaboy. D-Mac. Delhi. So he's in at 1,000. We haven't even started the ask. I love it. So there you go. How it works for Pyramid of Giving. We look for 15 people at $100, 10 people at $200, 4 people at $5, and 2 at 1,000. So we already got one of the big ones gone. So 833-401-1440. And you can, teenager years, you look back on it. It was fun, but at times it can be awkward. There's no question. And this is, you kind of can feel left out sometimes. You don't know, especially, there's days when you're a teenager and you kind of have that innocent of wishing you were a kid, but then you're kind of like, well, I'm too cool. I'm not supposed to feel that way. It's a lot. Then you mix in your hormones and it's a great time. It's a great time. It can be frustrating for some and awkward for others. So this will be an opportunity to kind of help them out. So 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440. If you want to get in for the Pyramid of Giving, and we're off and running. That would be great. Hey, guys, how about a campaign in the city to turn off their brights when they're driving? Hey, Reed, one thing at a time, man. One thing at a time. I drive around lots. I don't see a lot of bright lights. Like some of the new lights now are pretty bright, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're on light. I'll say this. I experience an infinitely higher amount of people with no lights on than I do with bright lights on. Cons, where do you come up?
That's a really good one.
Do you get a lot of bright lights for you?
Yeah, I do.
Like on high beams?
Yeah, like especially, and maybe it's just me adjusting to it because I don't feel like it's as bad as it was in, say, when the clocks went back and fall back. Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, like adjusting to it, going home, just getting blinded. But I think it's just the new cars have the LED lights, right? It's out of their control. They don't want to blind you, but that's just what their car comes stock with. When it's bad, there are far too many people that don't throw the lights on. So that's my bigger concern right now. Because usually it's in those bad conditions when it's the worst for me. Like it's not good at any time. But when it's snowing and flurrying, people don't turn their lights on. That's my number one concern.
Yes. So lights on for certain. I think lights off. And I don't even know if people are, sometimes they just don't know. I think they're just like, well, my lights are on auto. That means they're on. No, the run lights doesn't mean they're on. That's our daily reminder. Okay. Your run lights mean their lights are on, and that's not. Rob comes in at $200 for Adopt a Teen, and we are off and running. Also, Shane and Jason, each in at 500. I'm pretty sure these guys are. I gotta look. Let me just wait. I'm gonna have to get my phone, but I'm pretty sure that they're those guys are in my neighborhood. Good dudes, short guys, but really good dudes. Really good dudes. So, wow, this is a great start. We got 2 500s, 1,000, and a 200. The first 9 minutes of the show. Let's rock and roll. It's Positive Friday. It's the last Pyramid of Giving before Christmas. So if you want to help out, we would very much appreciate it. 833-401-1440 in our email inbox. 833-401-1440. The Oilers, of course, will, as I mentioned, 2 games on the weekend. And after those games, although, the way they started against Boston, I think they're probably much more likely to come out with a much better start. Like that just was not a great start. That's no doubt about it. So, and we'll see that. Also, did you notice some new D pairings at the morning skate today? Nurse with Bouchard, Ekholm and Emberson, Double E, and Kulak and Stetcher practicing today. So you know what? The Ekholm Bouchard had it had some struggles at times. So you know what? Just like if 4 guys aren't going, you mix it up, and we'll see where it goes from here. But I think that overtime goal for Ekholm, probably a good thing. The way Darnell Nurse is playing, you're putting Bouchard with Nurse in hopes that Bouchard gets going. Make no mistake about it. You're playing Bouchard with Nurse because you got to get Bouchard playing better. And right now, Nurse is your best defenseman. So, well, good news. We'll see how it goes. Look at this. Todd is in at another $1,000. Woo! Attaboy, Todd. Thank you very much. I love it. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440. Danny is in at $200. We're rocking and rolling. Rocking and rolling. So who knew that the 100s would be the tough? I'm not complaining. Not complaining at all. But we got 2 2s, 2 5s, 2 1,000s. And we are off and rolling here on Sports 1440. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you. Coming up on the show today, it's going to be a Positive Friday. I can feel it. A little extra special Positive Friday. You can just feel, maybe you're in the Christmas spirit, or maybe your shopping's done. If you do celebrate Christmas and you're like, oh, geez, and you know what, you're relaxed. You're like, oh, it's Friday. I can go home, kick my feet up. Maybe you're lucky. Maybe you got some tickets to the matinee game tomorrow, or the Sunday early evening 6 o'clock against the Senators. Maybe you just be like, you know what? I got nothing going on. This is great. I just get to relax, sit back, enjoy. That should be good. On the show today, we will talk a little San Jose Sharks. Shen Pang will join us, talk about Celebrini, Will Smith. And, the Sharks, they're not an easy out right now. But their problem is they keep giving up third period leads. They blew one again last night against Colorado. Had that game and looked like it had, and then bing, bang, boom, they lose. Dr. Randy Gregg, who is in the Edmonton Oilers Wall of Honor, he's going to join us today. And we have a pretty cool event that Randy and them are happening coming up in the new year. So we'll talk about that. Gord Wilson will talk a little Senators. They're red hot, specifically their goaltender. Brian DiArdo will be by. What about the NFL? What was it? 1970 what?
78. It's been 48 years.
48 years since what we saw last night.
Fair catch, free kick.
Those who don't know, and it's weird, like it has to happen when there's no time on the clock. So that's why it's very rare, right? And then number 2, you have to have that. So the punter is basically punting out of his end zone. Right now, in this case, they still got a 15-yard penalty. That's what allowed it to happen. But I think it was in 2019. There was a chance that there was a 63-yard attempt, but they didn't do it. So they took it last night. You don't see it very often. Fair catch, 15-yard penalty. And they move it up and they take it, and boom, Connor Halley's Chargers. Connor, is the worm turning for the Chargers, Con Man?
Wow, that is actually a word or a phrase that Jim Harbaugh uses. Turn the worm. It might be. They're winning these closer games. There's not that fear involved. Greg, I think there's only been 5 attempts previously to Cameron Dicker of that fair catch free kick since 1989. Like, it just doesn't happen that often. And if you want to talk about just how intense NFL coaching is, the Chargers free agent or special teams coach Ryan Ficken makes them watch that Joey Sly play every Friday,
really,
just in case it happens.
Okay,
so they're locked in. But yeah, that was a fun game, and I will say the Broncos fans that were kind of confident yesterday, kind of chirping me, very silent today. Weird how that works.
What?
Yeah.
Come on, where's Nick, the Broncos fan?
Haven't had Nick.
Hello?
Haven't had Brad
Nick.
chime in.
Where are these guys? At a milk carton somewhere?
Hope they're okay.
Yeah, you guys okay? Yeah, exactly. Right? Hopefully you have your lights on.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully you have your lights on.
They're smart guys. They'll have their lights on.
Yeah. So there you go. Also, we have Karen is in at 200. Merry Christmas all, and thank you for everything you do in the community. From Karen. Well, Karen, thank you for your generosity and wanting to help us build the pyramid today on a Positive Friday. I love it. So there you go. Hey, guys, when's Regula ready? From Harry. Not for a while, my man. Not for a while. We'll take a quick break. When we return, we will talk Sharks and more on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Santa sweat, dripping on the tree, due to that new furnace that you got from Legacy.
Legacy Heating and Cooling wants to help you prepare for Santa. A nice warm stop during the cold night is the gift you give him. And Legacy can help with no payments and no interest for 1 year on your festive new furnace, because warm homes get better presents. Happy holidays from Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Everybody now, Santa sweat, this is really weird. Santa perspiration.
New year, new you. Let's kickstart 2025 by making better life choices, starting with quality pizza from Papa John's. Right now, get 25% off any regular menu price pizza with promo code BETTER25. A deal so good, it might just count as self-care. But hurry, resolutions wait for no one. Offer ends January 5th. Order now at papajohns.ca with promo code BETTER25. Better ingredients, better pizza, better get you some Papa John's.
A premier hockey solution with a clear path for long-term development is proud to be entering its 8th season of independent borderless hockey, featuring provincial and cross-province competition with showcase-style regular season gameplay and a strong commitment to individual skill development. It's an attractive option for those seeking family life balance. The Hockey Super League offers opportunities for both male and female athletes born between 2012 and 2017. Visit hockeysuperleague.com for more information.
You don't know what awaits you on the road to come, but with the 2025 XC90 from Volvo of Edmonton, you'll have the versatility to take on whatever life throws at you. The new XC90, a luxurious SUV with seating for up to 7, boasts newly upgraded body and wheel design. It's the perfect choice to drive into the coming year. And right now, you'll save $4,500 and lease from 1.49% on all in-stock 2025 XC90s. Volvo Cars Edmonton. VolvoCarsEdmonton.com, 1205 101 Street Southwest.
We now have a post-game show on Sports 1440. After the next game, tune in to Andrew Walker as he breaks down the game with you. The post-game show brought to you by the Ridge Social Eatery, St. Albert.
Now, all sizes of premium roast coffee at McDonald's have a new low price starting at $1 plus tax for a small. It's great if you love great tasting coffee. $1 small premium roast coffee every single day. Must be McCafe. Restaurants in Canada, exclusive delivery.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Hey, it's Scott from Sherwood and St. Albert Dodge. It's the holiday season, and we have some holiday specials that are better than getting new socks. We have 0% financing on almost all new models. We have the all-new Jeep Compass, nicely equipped, starting under $35,000. And we have holiday cashback, up to $10,000. That's right, buy a new vehicle from us and get up to $10,000 cash to deal with other holiday expenses. Our friendly, highly rated staff are standing by, ready to show you what we can do to put some cheer into your holidays. Only at St. Albert and Sherwood Dodge.
New year, new you. Let's kickstart 2025 by making better life choices, starting with quality pizza from Papa John's. Right now, get 25% off any regular menu price pizza with promo code BETTER25. A deal so good, it might just count as self-care. But hurry, resolutions wait for no one. Offer ends January 5th. Order now at papajohns.ca with promo code BETTER25. Better ingredients, better pizza, better get you some Papa John's.
Now for today's holiday special, Legacy Heating and Cooling saves Christmas. Santa's furnace broke down in the shop last night, and the elves couldn't make any toys, that's right, because the HR lady said it's in humane conditions. But ho, 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 golly gee, Santa got a 1-year guarantee, and the elves are working merrily with a brand new furnace from Legacy. Happy holidays from Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Better holidays start with better ingredients. Better pizza from Papa John's. Get 25% off any regular price pizza with code word BETTER25 at papajohns.ca.
talk, and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.220, welcome back. Positive Friday. Well, what a great start to the show. So, Todd and Deli are in at 1,000 each. We have Jason and Shane in at 500. And we have Rob, Danny, and Karen in at 200. So we're off to a great start for the Pyramid Giving for Adopt a Teen. It's a fantastic charity that, doesn't get a ton of support all year long. And so it's an opportunity to really help them out for teenagers who, of course, you kind of graduate out of this. So if you're a teenager in a household and, Santa's Anonymous delivers, sometimes the teens don't get one. So this is an opportunity to really help out for the teens. And, it allows them, for some of them, they're older to, lots of them, my understanding is they get the gift card and a lot of them use it to buy a gift for their mom or their father. They feel like giving. Everybody knows that giving lots of times feels better than receiving. So there you go. They can, they will do it and it'll be great. So 833-401-1440. So we need 15 at 100. We're down to only 7 at 200 and we only need 2 more 500s. Nah, hey, we'll always take more. If anybody else wants to do 1,000, well, hey, let's do it. 100%. We'll be all over that. But, officially, we're good. But we'll always take extra on a Positive Friday, the last pyramid of giving for the month of giving. So if you want to help out, that would be fantastic. As let's talk a little NHL. The Oilers tomorrow afternoon will take on the San Jose Sharks as we go around the NHL. Brought to you by McDonald's, where right now, how about a McDonald's meal for only $9.99? Ooh, tasty. Get one today at McDonald's. As we are joined by Sheng Peng from San Jose Hockey Now. Shen, welcome to the show, man. How you doing?
Pretty good, man. How's it going?
Well, it's going all right. The San Jose Sharks are a much more competitive team than we've seen last year. They're still pretty young, and that's kind of their one thing. Like we saw it again last night, Will Smith with an ill-advised turnover, and that kind of allows Colorado to get back in the game. But you watch this team closely for many years, Shen. They're more talented maybe than the last few years, and definitely they seem to be more competitive.
Right. Yeah, no, it's a whole mix of things going on that are good. They're definitely more talented in terms of the youth, obviously, Macklin Celebrini, Will Smith, but also Tyler Toffoli. But also, too, they added a lot of high compete players like Barclay Goodrow and Carl Grundstrom and guys like that. So it's all kind of Cody Ceci, of course, you guys know well. So all these guys have kind of formed just a more fun to watch. It was very hard to watch last year.
Oh God, was it ever? Macklin Celebrini, man, I know it didn't result in a goal, but that spin move off the boards last night against Sammy Girard, I'm like, he's a young player. He's got to be generating a lot of buzz in San Jose because it's like the Sharks for 17 years, man, under Doug Wilson's watch, they were one of the best teams in the NHL all the time. You had Joe Thornton for most of that and Marlowe and lots of other really good players. But obviously the last few years, it's kind of really been down. They haven't been that competitive. How much juice has Celebrini put back into the veins of Shark fans?
Oh, I think a lot. I mean, you can't quite tell in attendance yet. The Sharks are still kind of dealing with crowds of about 10,000 or so. Which of course was not the case back in the kind of the best Doug Wilson years. But in terms of just the buzz online for like Instagram clips, highlights, that sort of thing, right? Yeah, definitely so. Yeah, and I could just tell just my replies, my subscriptions, subscribe to San Jose Hockey Now, that there definitely is a lot of juice because of Macklin.
So you look at the Sharks, they come in today, they'll take on the Oilers, a matinee affair. Outside of Macklin Celebrini, I guess let's start with the young coach. And what has been the biggest difference you've seen that the coach has implemented to this group?
I think he definitely has a kind of a harder line, I think, than maybe David Quinn had last year. And I think David Quinn was dealing with a very tough situation, and so it's hard to have a hard line when your team is really just god awful. and so anyway, so I think Ryan has come in with that. Also too, he's been very creative with things, just little things like, playing music at practices to kind of get the guys going, and also to give them kind of the in-arena experience. Switching sheets of ice. So the second part of the day when they do power play, they might take a second sheet of ice. Even back in New York, they let a 65-year-old rec league goalie, Harold Robinson, kind of join practice just to kind of get the guys going a little bit. Just little things like that definitely are a little different. And so, yeah, I think so far Ryan's definitely made his mark on the team.
Yeah, I saw that video, and it kind of reminds you that hockey, even though it's at the professional level, you still got to have some fun.
Right. And I think Ryan's done a good job of kind of mixing that, where there are relatively high expectations. I think everybody knows where this team is, so no one is pushing them like they're the 2024-25 Oilers, for example. But I think that he's got a good mix of high expectations, hard work, but also fun.
Shen Peng joins us, beat reporter for the San Jose Sharks. William Eklund, 26 points in 34 games, 20 assists. Maybe they'd like a few more goals from him, but he looks like I guess it's just another example of a young player who's still very young, right? Not overly big. He's just, right. 22 years of age, which to me isn't old by any stretch of the imagination. He just turned 22 in October. What is the biggest improvement you've seen in his game this season?
I think just a lot of his consistency, right? Like a lot of times with young players, like last year he came in his first full season, had about 40 points, 44 points or something like that. And he should surpass that easily this year. So a lot of times I think it's just consistency, because William is a guy who, if he wants it, he's competitive. He is a small guy, but he sticks his nose in there. And so I think he's doing that a little more consistent basis, got stronger over the summer too. And so all that is just kind of adding with the skill that he has, right? The reason why he was the 7th pick of the 2021 draft. And so, yeah, it's just basically hitting his prime right now.
Shannon, it's interesting that you look at the San Jose Sharks and they're 24th in goals per game at 2.74. Meanwhile, the Oilers are 8th at 3.28. But the Sharks got 6 guys with 20 points so far this season. They don't have a Draisaitl or McDavid, obviously not, but they still got 6 guys with 20 points. Is the problem they're not getting anything else down the lineup?
Oh no, I think they've been. That's one of the things that Mike Greer targeted this past summer. Wanted to add more centermen to support Celebrini and Smith, and he's done that with Alex Wennberg is a great example of that. Luke Cunnin has provided some goals this year, and so I think the scoring is okay. It's balanced throughout the lineup. I think what they really need to do is cut down the goals against, right? And that's of course been a trend with the Sharks for the last 5 years, but especially last year. And I think they're getting there. The defense is improved from last year, but there's obviously still a ways to go. They don't have a kind of a kingpin number one guy coming quite yet, and so that's kind of what they're hoping to add, I think, in the coming years.
Looking at another positive for the Sharks has been Jake Wallman. And like that trade, I didn't understand it. Detroit just kind of gave up on him and was like, oh, we got to get rid of this guy. And I'm like, what? He's got 24 points on the blue line for the Sharks. He's playing almost 23 minutes a night. Like, that's been an absolute thievery by Mike Greer in that deal.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's another one. I mentioned Wennberg, and Wallman is another kind of credit to Mike Greer that identified sort of the clear weaknesses of the team. They really need a puck moving from the blue line. They had really nobody who could move the puck and also defend last year back there. And so he added Jake Wallman, Lodegren. These are not like top 2 defenders, number 1 defenders, but they're much better than what they had last year. They're credible NHL defenders, both of them, credible NHL players. And so I think up and down the lineup, Mike has done a very good job of just adding just NHL players. If you look at a typical Sharks lineup last year, like half of those lineups aren't in the NHL this year. They're playing in other leagues, right? And now you look at it this year, right? And basically every lineup that they've run, most of the guys, or if not all the guys, they're going to be in the league next year. Maybe not with the Sharks, but they're going to be in the league somewhere. And I think that's a big part of it, just adding competitive group and also identifying areas of need like center, like puck moving from the blue line.
Cody Ceci, of course, traded for Ty Emberson in the offseason, and he's playing 22 minutes a night. He's getting a lot of the tough minutes. I was looking at his puck IQ numbers there, and you know what? He's a veteran guy, and you look at it. I've always said, veteran guys sometimes on a non-competitive team, your numbers are going to look bad because they're just not as skilled overall. Some of the top teams. How of him? Is he playing mainly? Who's he playing with? Ferraro the most, or have they switched to D pairs? Who's he played with?
Mainly a Wallman, which actually they function as the Sharks' top pairing. And yes, of course, on a playoff team, that's not your top pairing, but they've done a decent job of it. Obviously, you mentioned Wallman's productivity, and I think Cody's been perfectly fine. I was a little worried too that, like you said, like once you move from a team like Edmonton, you come down to San Jose, that you get eviscerated. And I think that Cody, of course, his numbers aren't going to look good because he is the top defensive defenseman on one of the worst teams in the league. And I think I've said this many times that I don't know if there's a harder job in the world the last couple of years than being a defensive defenseman on the Sharks. And so that's I'm speaking for guys like Jan Ruda and Mario Ferraro too. And so I think Cody's done perfectly fine there. He hasn't been overwhelmed, I guess is the way to put it. He's been okay. He's stuck at what he's good at, which is, down low, the battles in the corners, net front. He's done a good job of that. And he's given a lot of the puck moving to Jake Wallman. And so they formed a sort of a workable, top pairing for now for this season.
Yeah. And that's, so I look at, the Sharks and their roster, they can't retain any salary, right? In trade. So,
right.
Have you talked to Mike Greer about that? How challenging is that going to be? Like you look at, Cody Ceci's a pending UFA, and this guy's Game 7. Ask Oiler fans. The guy comes up huge in Game 7. He's got a lot of playoff experience. He does have a $3.25 million cap hit, but they can't retain any salary in a deal for Cody Ceci. Is that going to limit their ability to try to get some assets at the deadline?
Yeah, I mean, it probably will, but I mean, that's just what the sort of the dice they had to roll, right? So they could get rid of Hurdle's immense contract, Carlson's immense contract, and all of that. So I think it's a sacrifice well worth it because you retain a little bit on the Cody Ceci at a deadline. Okay, so then your pick moves from the pick you get back moves from a fourth to a third or something like that. That's the trade-off for getting rid of Carlson's contract and those big contracts that aren't helping the Sharks at all right now. It's I think it's a trade-off well worth it. And also there could be they can involve middlemen and whatnot too for these kind of deals at the deadline. And I wonder with Ceci, I mean, he's the kind of guy, I think he's fit in well in the room. I think he's been a good example. So I wonder if some of these guys that maybe they try to keep some of these veteran UFA types.
Okay.
Kyle Granlund is another one of that, right? Where they've been really good leaders, and you don't want to turn the Sharks back into what they were last year, which was a team of sort of mercenaries and cast-offs, and you kind of leave Macklin and Will Smith and all those guys kind of to their own devices a little bit, which was, I think, to some degree the case last year.
Shen, as always, my man, it's great to catch up with you. We'll see you tomorrow as the Sharks and the Oilers, a matinee affair. They meet for the first time this year. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, man.
There you go. That's Shen Peng joining us from San Jose. Now, the Oilers, you can't look past the Sharks. They're not a world beater like any of the teams the Oilers have played lately. But this is a game that a trap game's probably a little bit too much. I think the Oilers, I would hope they're mature enough now in their game to know, hey, we got to play better than we did for 2 out of the 3 periods against Boston. Right? They won that game because they didn't give up it very much. Right, like you look at Boston's 2 goals, I'll give Kastelik, that's a pretty nice move. And the first goal, it's a low percentage shot that gets deflected by Draisaitl and goes in. There wasn't a breakdown defensively. It's not a bad goal. It's more unlucky, and that's going to happen sometimes in hockey. So, overall, again, I thought their defensive effort was solid. Stuart Skinner, the breakaway save on Pasternak in the first period turned out to be massive. The 2 saves in the third period when there's 2-1 were massive. And that allowed Edmonton to hang around. And then McDavid made a great play, tie the game. And then they win it in overtime. It's huge. They'll need a better effort tomorrow for sure against the San Jose Sharks. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440 in our eWell inbox. Erin, she comes in at $100 for the Pyramid of Giving. So we got all levels now have an appearance in 100, 200, 500, and 1,000. We need 2 more 500s. We need 7 more 200s and only 14 100s. And we're off because the 1,000's full. However, if anybody wants to add more on a bonus, we definitely can do that. So it is Positive Friday, 833-401-1440. If you want to help out Adopt a Teen, it's a fantastic initiative to help teenagers just kind of feel part of things at Christmas time. Hey, guys, I miss CC a lot, but Emberson might end up being better. Well, hey, I'll say this. If Emberson has a career like Cody Ceci has, he'll do cartwheels. There's so many people that I'm always floored by how people will insult a player who plays like 700 games in the NHL like they're bad. So Cody Ceci's not a top pair defenseman. So what? At times he was. Him and Darnell Nurse played some, and they always played tough minutes. No question. Right? Like Cody Ceci's got 8 5-on-5 points so far this season. And I'm just going to look at Oiler defensemen and how many of them have 8 5-on-5 points. Like Cody Ceci's a solid player, right? So, the Oilers, Ekholm has 8, Nurse has 9, Kulak has 10, right? On a team that's much more offensive minded. So I've never minded Cody Ceci. And he's not over. He makes $3.25 million. He's playing 22 minutes a night. In Edmonton, he played 20. He was never a bad contract for what you got from him at all. Right? He wasn't a perfect player. Right? He wasn't a great passer, except in Game 7 in Florida. Could have been the pass of the year for the Oilers last year. It was unreal. Right? And there was a guy who was able to step up at key times, like in Game 7s. Outstanding. So very good. Hey guys, why'd the Sharks make the Ceci move if they're rebuilding? Veteran experience from HVAC Nick? Yeah. Their organization, I think you realize you can't just play all these young guys together and get crushed. Right? Like they didn't want to put Ty Emberson's playing third pair minutes in Edmonton. Cody Ceci's playing first pair minutes in San Jose. Now, that doesn't mean he's a first pair defenseman, but he's more able to handle it. And if there's tough games, he's not going to get frustrated like a young guy, Ty Emerson, who had 30 NHL games experience. You don't want to go into a season and say, hey, Ty Emerson, guess what? You get to be in our top pair tonight. Why? Right? To me, I think it's a brilliant move because you have, like, obviously getting Jake Wallman for nothing. That's a hell of a move. For nothing. Hey, Gregor, did Ceci get a tribute video? Well, I'll say this about Cody Ceci. Beloved by his teammates. And in the playoffs, he gave Oiler fans Game 7 against LA, winning goal. Game 7 against Vancouver, huge goal. Game 7 against the Florida Panthers, massive assist. So Cody Ceci gave you lots of things to cheer about at the most important time of the year. And like I said, the vocal minority, it was the same 25 people who's like, Ceci sucks, and every time you make a mistake, but that doesn't represent the majority of fans. Majority of fans were like, hey, I know what Cody Ceci is. It's a solid defenseman. It's a second pair defenseman who at times could play first pair. Every now and then he'd make a play. You know what? Wasn't a great outlet passer, but clearly could do it. Just not all the time because it's hard to do it all the time. That's what separates the great ones. But he was a solid foot soldier in Edmonton. Never overpaid. Ever. For the minutes he played, was never overpaid at all. So I have no issue with it, right? And as I said, when they moved him, it's clearing up some cap space. And because you had Brett Kulak, who can play in your top, and Troy Stetcher, for the regular season, has been fine splitting duties in how they do it. So no issue. Right now, Ty Emberson, I'm interested with the new D pairs, and we'll see how long they last. But Emberson was with Ekholm today. Nurse was with Bouchard. Kulak with Stetcher. Now, are we going to see guys move around? Because last game, lots of guys were playing with different players all the time. Which, at times you got to give the coaches credit. They had nothing going after 20 minutes last night. Offense defense. So they switched the D pairs, they switched the lines. And guess what? It worked. They ended up coming back to win. Now, some of the lines, obviously, Draisaitl, McDavid, and Hyman have played together before, but it worked. Right? Draisaitl was in on all 3 goals. Now he's got 900 career points. It was outstanding. 833-401-1440, Pyramid of Giving. Adopt a team. You want in? Let us know. We'll take a quick break. When we return, we will hear from the doctor, Randy Gregg.
The locks are on a timer. They're going to get out.
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Service team reporting. With the remarkable reach of our bucket trucks and other equipment, we assess, service, and maintain your electrical lighting and automation systems.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
The Canada-wide clearance is on at GMC. Get a $7,500 cash credit on 2024 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab elevation models. With Sierra's 13.4-inch diagonal premium GMC infotainment system with Google built-in compatibility, available off-road package with hill descent control, plus an available 3-liter Duramax diesel engine. You can take the road less traveled and try new things, like fishing or whitewater rafting. I should have gone fishing. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta, new players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet every week all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Adventure just doesn't stumble into your life. It roars to life with Riverside Motorsports. Tearing up trails or cruising the open road. Yamaha ATVs, side-by-sides, motorcycles, and dirt bikes deliver the performance you crave. Built for thrills, ready for your next adventure. Yamaha's legendary performance and reliability take you there. Make Mother Nature your playground on a Yamaha from Riverside Motorsports. Located on St. Albert Trail. RideRiverside.com. Riverside Motorsports. What you do for fun is our business.
Delicious news. The McDonald's meals you love are now $9.99 every day. Grab your faves like the Big Mac, 6-piece McNugget, McChicken, or Filet-O-Fish with medium fries and a medium fountain drink for $9.99 each plus tax. At participating McDonald's restaurants in Edmonton, Alberta, and the surrounding area. Prices exclude delivery.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is your #1 furnace service company for the holidays because we don't charge overtime rates, including 24/7 emergency. Oh, I need service, please, Santa. Tell me a price. My furnace is naughty. Would you please make it nice? No, I can't wait to find it under my tree. Please send me service from Legacy. No overtime or emergency rates during the holidays or ever. That's how you service your legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Does your bank do local? We do. In 2024, Vision Credit Union returned over $34 million in profit shares to our members. How did we do it? Each year, we return about 75% of our profits to Vision members as profit shares, which means that money is invested locally. It's just one of many ways that Vision supports our rural Alberta branch communities. Bank where your community matters. Bank with Vision Credit Union. Learn more at whatsyourshare.ca.
Every guest gets special treatment at Sherwood Honda, but there's one visitor they wait all year to see.
Ho, ho, ho.
It was Santa, so they all gathered round.
I know you've been a good dealer this year, but...
Uh-oh, what could a but from Santa mean?
But it's the drivers that are really deserving, so I'm leaving a sack full of the best cars and trucks. I think you know what to do with them.
Sherwood Honda sure would know how to get vehicles into good driveways this season, and you know where to find yours.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. Watch every Oilers game at OTR with $5.25 Molson Canadian, $5 Pink Whitney shots, and 60-cent wings. Plus, play Oilers score and win so you can win On the Rocks gift cards. Oilers Hockey at OTR. Book your table today. Jasper Ave in 118.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Welcome back. Pause of Friday. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. Hope you're having a wonderful day. We've had a good start in the first hour for the month of giving, helping out Adopt a Teen. We're looking for $100, $200, $500 donations. Hey, we do have our thousands filled out, but we'd gladly take more. But we do need to fill it out properly. We need 14 more at 100, 7 more at 200, and 2 more at 500. So if you want to help out, 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440 as we help out Adopt a Teen. And now we're going to get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by Silent Rides Charter Company, one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies with state-of-the-art motor coaches that safely take you or your group to your next destination. Ride in style, ride safe. Their lights are always on at silentrides.ca. As we are joined by, of course, former NHLer, 5-time Stanley Cup champion, recently inducted into the Oilers Ring of Honor, Ring of Fame, and of course, one of the owners of the Edmonton Riverhawks, Dr. Randy Gregg joins us. Randy, good to talk to you again, my man. How you doing?
I'm doing great, thanks, and you're doing great as well, I hope.
I am. I'm doing excellent. Yes, it's a good time. It's a good time of the year. Everybody's excited. The hockey team's playing well. So everybody likes it. Now, Randy, the last time I talked to you, you had all your grandkids around, and it was pretty special to have all the family there and to see them all. Were you able, after the fact, kind of to maybe even appreciate more the weekend and the honor of going up in the Ring of Honor?
Yeah. So I think there's a really good saying that Claire Drake was quoted a long time ago that. It's amazing what can be accomplished. Nobody cares who gets the credit. So when we look for credit, well, we shouldn't. We look for doing things in the community. The 5 Stanley Cups are great. We were able to do something that maybe somebody in a wheelchair or some young child wasn't able to do. So we're really proud of being able to bring that Stanley Cup back to Edmonton. But we didn't do it to be put in the Wall of Fame or things like that. It is a nice credit. And I think for my grandchildren who know me only as grandpa and somebody who skates fairly slowly, but gives them treats every now and then, that they start to realize that there was some history in Edmonton, and the Oilers, I think, did some really good things in the community and to continue as well. The event itself was really well organized, and my young grandkids got a chance to meet some of the stars, and those stars could have left out of the back door, and they were there to shake hands with people. And so, a credit to the young Oiler players. They're wonderful young men, and I'm glad that the city's continuing to be behind them. They deserve all the help they can get.
Well, Randy, we had lots of text people who really enjoyed your speech. I thought it was fantastic. So I'm sure maybe you've heard that, but if you hadn't, we had lots of people texting in afterwards. Those who were at the game and those watching on TV, they really appreciated it. And speaking of speakers, that's kind of how I want to transition. They have the Riverhawks Gala Foundation goes on April 5th, and Joe Carter. Touch them all, Joe. You'll never hit a bigger home run. Most Jays fans might remember that from the 90s, a huge home run. And Joe is there. Tell us a little bit about the Gala Foundation and how people can get tickets and come.
Yeah, you bet. Over the last 3 years, we've really been humbled by the support that we've been received from the community. The Riverhawks have broken all the attendance records in West Coast League. We're having lots of fun down here. We think we'll continue to do that. But we wanted to give back, and by giving back, we decided to organize the Riverhawks Community Foundation, a nonprofit foundation to raise money, not only in our 50-50s at the game, but with these special events to be able to support amateur baseball and softball organizations looking for specific projects. And also if there's a young boy or girl that's interested in playing those sports and maybe has some financial hardships, we want to help them out as well. What better person to try to come into to talk at a banquet than somebody like Joe Carter, who is a real humble man. He's a very famous guy who can tell a lot about the stories that went on back when the Blue Jays were winning the World Series. It's not a gala, though. That's a big thing. I've been to enough galas where I have to sit with a shirt and tie and kind of uncomfortable. This is an ungala, so we're going to wear jeans and wear our best hockey or baseball jersey there. So it's going to be a really fun time. Lots of entertainment, dancing, lots of silent auctions, and that's April 5th at the Wyndham Edmonton. Tickets can be purchased through the Riverhawks website. And there's an early bird price before December 31st. We're really excited about, filling the place, having a really good time, listening to Joe and hear about his experiences in Major League Baseball, and also raise money for the amateur sport organizations in our community.
And so people want to, is it a table you buy? Can you buy like one seat? Can you buy two? How does it work?
Yeah, you can buy tables, and you can also buy individual seats as well. We're looking forward to have individuals and companies supported by buying tables. But if a couple wants to come, they're certainly welcome to come and join us and hear all the information, have some fun there. We're going to have a batting cage and maybe a pitching machine to see how hard we can pitch, a radar gun. So yeah, it'll be a fun time, but it'll be relaxing. It will not be a gala by any means, but it'll be lots of fun. Hopefully raise some money.
When now in Randy Gregg's prime, how hard could you throw it?
Yeah, well, not as hard as I should have. If I was a better thrower, I would have played Major League Baseball, probably sort of mid 80s, and that was okay in the leagues I played with. I was more of a hitter back then. I always thought, gee, if you're going to play baseball, play every game. And I didn't want to pitch because you pitched every fifth game. So I said, no, I don't want to be a pitcher. I want to be a hitter. That was much more fun. But nowadays, our players are working out much harder. We've got both the Riverhawks and also our Edmonton Collegiate Hawks and other programs for minor baseball kids to come out. They're training harder. They're becoming better athletes. The mechanics of the throw is getting better. So we're seeing, lots of young Edmontonians touching 90, 92 miles an hour. And they'll get a chance to go down to the States and get a scholarship. And that's really exciting for us to try to promote minor baseball here in Edmonton.
Yeah, you look at like Eric Zombrowski, of course, we had him in studio here. It's a huge thing for local ball to see a local guy there in the majors and pitching incredibly well. For sure. And I know, Randy, that baseball is something that you played in the NHL. You always joke like baseball is probably my favorite sport. And, you've really wanted to kind of improve and get more opportunities for the local baseball players. And obviously this gala dinner is one of them, but kind of just talk about, the overall, minor ball system here in Edmonton and what you would like to see improve there moving forward.
Well, first of all, I think we all realize that hockey will be the dominant sport forever and ever here. When you look outside the 2 feet of snow, it's pretty obvious with that. But we also realize that an important summer sport can be soccer and it can be baseball, and it gives people an opportunity to become good athletes. I know when people used to ask Wayne Gretzky what the best thing they could do as a young player to become a better hockey player, Wayne would say, play baseball, play golf, play soccer, become an athlete. And then as you get a little bit older, then you can focus on one particular sport. I love the idea. These young Canadian boys or girls are excellent athletes. And although we don't have the weather that allows them to train 12 months a year, we want to give them that opportunity to become the best they can be. And if that means going to the States for a scholarship, if it means playing high-level baseball here in Edmonton, or if it means making Major League Baseball like Eric Zombrowski, wonderful young man, really a pleasant gentleman. It's taken some time. He's had a couple of surgeries and he's got through that. He's worked hard. And I think that Canadian spirit is probably one of his best assets.
So once again, Randy, if people want to get tickets, how's the easiest way to get tickets? And is there like an early bird special or anything like that?
Yeah, there sure is. They can go to riverhawksfoundation.ca. There is an early bird special before December 31st. And the tickets will be available until they're all sold out, right up until the April 5th event. It's Saturday night. It's at the Wyndham South Edmonton. It's going to be lots of fun, and we're really, really looking forward to sitting down and listening to Joe and all his comments about the special time that we had back in the 1990s with the Blue Jays.
So is he just speaking? Is there a Q&A portion at all, Randy?
So we asked Joe what he'd like. And, some people are good at standing up and giving a prepared speech. And he said, I feel a lot more comfortable just answering questions. And
perfect.
So we want it to be kind of a fireside chat. He will be up at the front. Our MC will ask him certain questions. We'll have very specific questions, not that what's it like to hit a home run in the World Series. That's pretty obvious. But really try to get some information that I think people really enjoy. We all watch the games. We all watch the World Series this year, but to actually get a perspective from the players in the dugout and with the bat going 3-2 with 2 out in the ninth inning, things like that are really kind of exciting. And I'm looking forward to it myself. I've been in a number of those situations. And, to hear a great athlete like Joe Carter speak about that, I think will be really exciting.
Awesome stuff, Randy. I really appreciate your time. Have a wonderful day.
Well, and you stay warm.
Hey, buddy, it's warming up, man. It's going to be perfect. The ODR, this is the best time of year. ODR weather. I can't wait.
Let's get outside and do some skating outside.
Yeah, awesome. Well, you guys are a big skiing family too, Randy. Are you, do you ever do the cross-country skiing?
No, but my wife was a speed skater. I met her in the Olympics, and although all my kids played hockey, 3 of them became speed skaters and 2 went to the Olympics. So, yeah, that darn mother had a more strong influence than I guess.
Now, but didn't you do? None of you did skiing?
Oh, recreational, yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, speed skating was their sport, and luckily they were able to excel at that.
Well, 3 Olympians in speed skating, 1 in hockey. Not bad, Randy. Not a bad family tree there. So now, of all the grandkids, are you expecting how many will be speed skaters? How many will be into hockey?
Well, right now we got 12, and 10 of them are speed skaters because the other 2 haven't learned to walk yet. So I think that grandma, she knows what she's doing. She's got them out there at Victoria Oval having lots of fun.
Oh, sure. That's fantastic. I don't know. Does grandma do like lots of baking? Because I always remember grandma's baking, and that's the thing that gets you every time. So.
Well, I'll tell you, my wife, Kathy, who probably can skate a lot faster than most NHLers even now at her age, she's going to be out there making sure all those little ones have lots of fun. And if you have fun, you just never know how far you can go in sport.
It's very true. Very true. Now, have you ever tried speed skating?
Well, after playing in the NHL for 9 years, the first time I speed skated down at Victoria Oval was 11 o'clock at night because I said to myself, if I'm going to fall flat in my butt, I don't want anybody in the world to see it. So I started getting better and better. And now actually I really prefer it. It's a beautiful sport. It's all about technique. And interestingly enough, when my wife Kathy came to watch the Oilers years ago, she watched the game and I said, "What did you think of the game?" She said, "Well, there's only one guy that really knows how to skate on your team." I said, "Kathy, we just won the Stanley Cup." She said, "It's that number 7, that coffee guy." Well, yeah. He was right. Paul could skate.
Oh, he could. Well, but I remember I tried speed skating the first time, and I could barely, the edges are so different. And it was like, I was awful. I felt like Bambi on the ice. I couldn't believe how different it was. And I'd figure skated. So figure skating didn't really help, but speed skating is totally different.
Yeah. The edges are completely different. You're right. And you have to always be, but they're not there for twisting and scoring goals. They're there for speed. And so, it's a really unique experience. And you think if you know enough about skating, you should do it. That's a completely different sport.
Randy, thanks for this, man. Really appreciate it.
Hey, Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas to you. There's Randy Gregg. So once again, Joe Carter is coming in for the Riverhawks Foundation Gala on April 5th, and they have early bird tickets that you can get before December 31st to get in. Now, they've done this a few years, man, and it's a great event for the baseball community, but you're a sports fan. You don't have to play baseball to be a sports fan, and Joe Carter, I think, from a certain era, many of you, if you're, I don't know how, probably at least 40 plus to remember that one. Pretty good, I would think. Maybe more. 40 plus. Not bad, I would think. So teenage years, right? Early teenage years. You remember that? Huge home run. You've seen the replay. I don't know how many times, I would think.
No recollection of it live, Gregor, but the legacy lives on. I'm 37. So
okay, yeah. So over 40.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's
touch
fair.
them all, Joe.
Oh, it's a great call, isn't it? It's like it's a iconic call. Well, plus you're in the World Series. They hit a home run. It's unbelievable. So Batista wasn't even in the World Series, and people still remember it. Like there's lots of huge home runs at different times, and there's just something about the home run, a walk-off shot in the playoffs. It's like scoring an overtime winner in the NHL, right? Or whatever level you play. You score an overtime winner in Edmonton minor hockey that's coming up in a few weeks. That's a thrill that you'll never forget. As a kid, heck, your parents probably will never forget it. So it's awesome. Your teammates won't either. I can still tell you, we were in provincials, and we scored an OT winner. I still remember that. Our guy's going crazy. I was on the ice. I didn't score it. I won the face-off, but still, at that point, you don't care who scored. It's just you scored. We were shorthanded, actually, so that made it even better. Quick break. We'll come back. We'll update you on the month of giving. Had a very good first hour for the Pyramid of Giving today. It's our final Pyramid of Giving. Your opportunity, 100, 200, 500, or $1,000 donation towards Adopt a Team. Just send in your name and your donation as we build the pyramid today. Here's Connor Halley, Sports 1440 update presented by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Oh, the no payments, no interest for 1 year on your furnace. Stay warm all winter. LegacyHeating.ca.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
Busy Friday night in the NHL. The Sabres host the Leafs. Canadians in Detroit. Panthers up against the Blues. Canes take on the Caps. Stars host the Rangers. Utah is in Minnesota, and the Ducks taking on the Wild. The Oilers off tonight, back in action tomorrow. We'll still host the San Jose Sharks at the 2 o'clock puck drop. Pre-game here on Sports 1440 gets going at 1 o'clock with Andrew Walker. In the association, just 3 games on the schedule. Sixers hosting the Hornets, the Bucks in Cleveland, and the Heat take on the OKC Thunder. College football playoff gets going tonight. Number 7 Notre Dame hosting number 10 Indiana. Canadian Curtis Stewart under center for the Hoosiers. Right now, Florida leads Tulane 6-0 in the second quarter. Earlier today at the Staff DNA Cure Bowl, Ohio knocked off Jacksonville State 30-27. Hockey in the Edmonton area this weekend. Devon hosting Fort Mac. You got GP in Calgary in the AJ. Canmore takes on Drumheller and Cam Rose in Drayton Valley in the BCHL. The Crusaders and Saints meeting tonight in Sherwood Park. They'll meet again tomorrow in Spruce Grove. Both of those games start at 7. The Baltimore Ravens have placed wide receiver Deontay Johnson on waivers. The Ravens acquired Johnson in a trade with the Carolina Panthers back on October 29th, giving up a 5th-round draft pick to get Johnson and a 6th-rounder. He played in only 4 games, catching 1 ball for 6 yards in 39 snaps. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we will be joined by Gord Wilson, Ottawa Senators radio analyst, as well as Brian Diardo of CBS Sports, covering the NFL. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Now for today's holiday special, Legacy Heating and Cooling saves Christmas. Santa's furnace broke down in the shop last night, and the elves couldn't make any toys. That's right, because the HR lady said it's in humane conditions. But ho, 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 golly gee, Santa got a 1-year guarantee, and the elves are working merrily with a brand new furnace from Legacy. Happy holidays from Legacy Heating and Cooling.
New year, new you. Let's kickstart 2025 by making better life choices, starting with quality pizza from Papa John's. Right now, get 25%
Kevin Martin.
off any regular menu price pizza.
Mean.
With promo
Kevin
code
Martin looked at me with a puzzled look on his face.
So good, it might just count as self-care. But hurry, resolutions wait for no one. Offer ends January 5th.
Thing we could do.
Now at papajohns.ca.
Have another drink.
Promo code BETTER25. Better ingredients, better pizza, better get you some Papa John's.
We've finished construction of our gamma radiation containment facility. Is it up to code? Is it going to be safe?
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Testing team reporting. We test your commercial operations using tools like infrared to ensure safe operation. Trust us to prevent potential calamity before it strikes.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
It's getting free all season long. Can you believe it? Looking for an enjoyable and affordable family night out? The Spruce Grove Saints are excited to introduce their Kids Get In Free program. All kids 12 and under receive free admission for every Saints home game this season. Bring the entire family for action-packed junior hockey at a fraction of the cost. For more information, check out sgsaints.ca.
You don't know what awaits you on the road to come, but with the 2025 XC90 from Volvo of Edmonton, you'll have the versatility to take on whatever life throws at you. The new XC90, a luxurious SUV with seating for up to 7, boasts newly upgraded body and wheel design. It's the perfect choice to drive into the coming year. And right now, you'll save $4,500 and lease from 1.49% on all in-stock 2025 XC90s. Volvo Cars Edmonton. VolvoCarsEdmonton.com, 1205 101 Street Southwest.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade. Safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
Diablo Boots in Canada West. 2 great names in working cowboy boots. For over 60 years, Diablo has been selling the best-made Canadian boots. Diablo has boots from sizes 6E to size 15 EE, just for you. Why buy boots made in China like Ariat, Justin, or Red Wing, when Diablo has the best quality for less, made in Canada? Diablo has working cowboy boots with replaceable soles and heels for longer life. So, save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard, on the east side of Save On Foods. Hurry in today for best selection.
Hey, it's Scott from Sherwood and St. Albert Dodge. It's the holiday season, and we have some holiday specials that are better than getting new socks. We have 0% financing on almost all new models. We have the all-new Jeep Compass, nicely equipped, starting under $35,000. And we have holiday cashback, up to $10,000. That's right, buy a new vehicle from us and get up to $10,000 cash to deal with other holiday expenses. Our friendly, highly rated staff are standing by, ready to show you what we can do to put some cheer into your holidays. Only at St. Albert and Sherwood Dodge.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at Cantork.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.307. Welcome back. Positive Friday. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you. Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. Please turn your lights on if you're getting in your vehicle. Just remember, the auto doesn't mean your tail lights are on. Okay, just our polite little Positive Friday reminder to get everybody home safe. It's your final weekend before Christmas. Some of you are not even going into work on Monday. Today might be your last day, but I'm out. Taking some time off. Well, we'll be here on Monday, and we'll be here up until 2 o'clock on Christmas Eve. Live and we'll have sport. We'll have Fox after that, but the live local stuff from 7 until 2 on Christmas Eve. Then we're off Christmas Day and Boxing Day, and we'll be back on the 27th. Getting set as the Oilers will return to action. They play 2 games this weekend, and they'll have a lengthy break for the Christmas break. Kind of rare. Some teams get like 3 days off. The Oilers have 5? So pretty lucky for them. We had a great first hour in the month of giving, and it looks like great first hour. And I don't know if we could start the second hour better than this. I want to read this email that comes in. Actually, sorry, text and email, but said, hey guys, I just sent you an email, Sergey. So then I went to read the email. I like that. He wanted to make sure we got it. So I'll read the, let me get it. Let me pull it up again. Let's read this from Sergey. Hey guys, Positive Friday. I love it. To be honest, I'm listening to the show out of the country now, but I want to join in on the festivities of the month of giving, specifically the Pyramid of Giving, and help out all the teens. I know other guys have done it in the past. So our company, All Star Construction, would love to match the Pyramid of Giving today. From Sergey and everyone at All Star Construction. Nice. Well, I do the math. $1,500 on the foundation, $1,000 on the next level, $2,000 on the third level, and $2,000 on the fourth. Quick math, $7,500. So Sergey's committing to $7,500 if we raise and fill out the pyramid. I love it. I love when companies just decide, you know what, others are doing it. I'm a big believer when most of us, if you see somebody helping an elderly across the street. You're like, oh, geez, maybe I should help the elderly across the street, right? You see someone step out of their vehicle to stop somebody who needs some help on the side of the road. Other people, hey, do you need any help? No, we're good. It's just kind of, it's the old trickle down effect. Most of us, I think, generally deep down want to help other people. I think just innate in most human beings, if you're in that situation that you can. So, Sergey, thank you very much. We generally, truly appreciate that. And so remember, Deli and Todd came in at 1,000 in hour number one. We had Shane and Jason at 500. We had Rob, Danny, and Karen at 200, and Aaron at 100. So we need 14 $100 donations, 7 $200, and 2 $500. And then, hey, let's make sure All-Star Construction pays their bills. You know what I'm saying? Might as well. So 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440. If you want to go in, we're helping the teens today. There's lots of teenagers out there that need our help this time of year. And it's getting down to the nitty gritty, so it'll make a big difference. Trust me. For some of you, if you can afford the $100, you don't miss it. It'll be great. So let's start there. That's the easiest one. I think it's the one number that most people are more comfortable with. So let's get a few $100 right now. 200 or 500, 833-401-1440 in our inbox as we welcome into the studio Wanye Gretz. Wanye, how you doing?
Good, buddy. Good. My first favorite thing about the month of giving is the money you raise. My second favorite thing is watching you do the money raising math out loud. Because you're just going. You're like 152, this guy 1450. What? Connor, what was it? Who over here 150? And then you come up with a total at the end that looks like we bought an aircraft carrier. It's impressive. What's the monthly goal? What's the total you're shooting for?
I'll be truthfully honest. The only time I ever had a goal was the very first year we started, because I didn't really know what to expect. This is year 14 for our month of giving, and it literally started on a whim. And we had done some stuff during the year before then, and I was like, you know what, maybe we'll do something. So it was in 2011, and I was like, you know what, I got to come up with some ideas. My goal was maybe we could raise 25 grand in a month. I thought, geez, that'd be awesome. And I still remember it vividly because I was doing my show at the Pint on the South Side on Fridays, and I had gotten to Taylor Hall. I was working, got to know Taylor Hall. And I said, hey, this one I'm doing for charity, and I need a signed jersey. Can you give me a signed jersey? He's like, oh yeah, I can give you a signed jersey, no problem. And so then the Pint, we had like a Pint party for 10 and a signed Taylor Hall jersey, and then I had some club seats that were donated to the game. So that was the package we were auctioning off that first Friday. It ended up I had two guys going back and forth. We got $6 grand. So I'm just like, well, I got to make an executive decision here. I'm like, this is too much money to just pull away from. So I said, hey, I talked to Al at the Pine. I said, hey, I got these guys offering this. Can we do 2? He's like, oh yeah. And so I didn't have the tickets. I didn't have the jersey, but I'm like, I can get it. So I said, we'll just do 2. And so the very first day we raised 12. So I'm like, oh, we're halfway there. And then we ended up raising 51,000 the first year, which I thought was amazing because and then after that, I never really had a goal. And then the next year is 55. And then it just kind of jumped up year after that. And so we're actually now at, we started this year at 1,406,000 total. And now we're over $1.5 million raised. And so it's gone great. And we help out Santa's Anonymous, the Christmas Bureau, Holiday Hamper. We've helped out Operation Friendship Senior Society, the Brightview Elementary Breakfast Program. It's ones where these are things that you're going to charities that really need it at a time when people are struggling. The breakfast program, that one just hits me in the feels a lot, because to just think of kids who go to school and don't have any food, and then we expect them to learn, well, it's impossible, right? Everybody knows that. You read studies on it. And so the opportunity to help them, and the smaller charities like that, like, it makes a big I don't think people understand how much of a difference it makes. And we've helped a few different kind of charity. I kind of have the same ones, and I've told them, I said, you know what, I don't want to kick somebody out to bring somebody new in, so we kind of stick with the 6 that we do. And if it ever comes to it, if we've done little like one-offs here and there to help some other charities at different times, which is great, but most of them understand it. And I think our audience really appreciates it, and that it's making a difference. So if you want, you can get involved. And it's pretty simple. Just make a donation, and it's tax. The month of giving on the pyramid of giving is everything's a tax receipt, right? So because you're not getting anything. Like we do the auctions the other days, which is amazing, but today it's just let's see it, because I actually had a lot of people saying, Gregor, I love what you do, but I can't afford a $1,500 package or a $2,000 package or something. So that's when we came up with the pyramid of giving. I think that started 3 or 4 years ago, and then only in the last few years, we've had a few companies that always, like All-Star Construction. I know that Sergey knows Tirana GS Construction, and I don't know if they talk and says, this is what I'm doing. He's like, oh, maybe I want to do it. So that's kind of how it spreads, which is great.
That's an amazing total. And to switch stations too and have it continue over in the new station, that's an amazing testament to your listeners.
Yeah, well, you know what? Edmonton, and I think Edmontonians might take it for granted, but you go to other places. Like if you just look, like I know 50-50 is crazy, but if you look at the per capita, and they've done studies on it, the per capita donation in Edmonton is the highest in the country, right? And I think that becomes somewhat cyclical. Not cyclical, that's the wrong word, because that means it's going up and down. It's kind of embedded in the community that if you're in Edmonton and you're from Edmonton, it's part of your responsibility to the community to help others. And I really believe that that's how a lot of people in this community feel. And the numbers back it up. Like it's the per capita donations are the best in the country. And so, our audience, there's lots of sports fans, and luckily enough, some of them have, some extra disposable income. And some people, all they can afford is $100 donation. That's awesome. I love it. It's great. So, let's do it today on a Positive Friday. Let's fill out the pyramid for All-Star Construction. So 100, 200, and 500 donations is what we're looking for. We'll always take an extra 1,000 if we can, but we want to fill up the 1, 2s, and 5s. So let's get it rolling. It's been kind of quiet. We haven't had a donation in 20 minutes. So 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Some other texts coming in. Hey, guys, what do you think of the new D pairs? Well, let's see them in a game. If you just joined us, Nurses with Bouchard, Ekholm, Emerson, Kulak, and Stetcher. And we've seen those guys kind of bounce around before. So it's really just Nurse and Ekholm. Well, that's not true because they've kind of switched them all up because Kulak played with Emerson. But if you look at last game, they switched up the D pairs from the start of the second period, and they were taking different shifts with different guys all the time. I don't mind it. When I look at, they're trying to get Bouchard going here. Let's be honest. Evan Bouchard, to what the level he's capable of playing, he hasn't been there now for a good 6 weeks. So they're going to play him with the guy who's been their best defenseman for 6 weeks, and Darnell Nurse. And so, you know what? He just was like, hey, let's see if it works. Ekholm and Bouchard, I won't be surprised at all if at some point they go back to Ekholm and Bouchard. I won't be surprised at all because they've had success for a long time. But there's nothing wrong. Like you switch up your forward lines, you can switch up your D pairs, right? We've seen it all year. Like Nurse has played great since start of November. And he was playing even better before, but his numbers have been off the charts. But and he played half the time with Kulak, half the time with Stetcher. It didn't really matter. So I don't think you have to have like set D pairs that can never not switch up.
The others are 8-2-0 in their last 10, Gregor. Are they hot? Will you go so far as to declare them hot?
Well, yeah, dude, they're very hot. There's very little when you look at the orders. There's guys that you would like more from for sure. The Jeff Skinner experiment hasn't gone great. Some would say, well, he never really got an opportunity. And, that's a chicken and the egg thing. And I think it's a valid argument to say, well, did he get a long enough look to know if he could fit in the top 6? It's probably a fair question. Early on, I thought his first 6-7 games of the year, he was their best forward. But the team wasn't winning. And then they made some changes. And, now he finds himself in the bottom 6. Didn't play much last night. Chris Knobloch, yes, he likes offense, wants guys to score, but the one thing I've learned from watching Knobloch is his line in the sand is giveaways. You get a few opportunities, and if you're not producing like for Jeff Skinner, I know people say, well, Bouchard turns it over. Yeah, but a turnover that doesn't lead to a scoring chance, is different than a turnover that leads to a grade A scoring chance. And Skinner made another one last night, found himself his minutes limited. And now Kapanen didn't skate today, but the lines are all the same. And Derek Ryan was just taking Kapanen's spot on the second line, which we all know is not going to happen. Like Derek Ryan's not going to come in and play with Leon Draisaitl. It's not going to happen. So I'll be curious if Kapanen's not going to get moved out of there. What happens? Derek Ryan, he'll play one of the two games this weekend. Knobloch, when he has extra players, he usually doesn't like them to sit both of the back-to-backs. So, but there's lots of positives about the Oilers. The Oilers are a good team. I expect them to be a good team. They didn't start, like a good team, but they're a good team now. I'm not surprised. I'm more curious about what moves Stan Bowman makes between now and the trade deadline.
What would be your number one priority looking at an 8-2-0 Oilers with Darnell Nurse playing well now?
I still probably think it's a top 4 right defenseman. Problem is there's just not many of those. So that is priority number one. I don't know if you can get it. You can always play Kulak in your top 4, right? And you could then go out and get a third pair guy that you want. So, but I would say a top 4 right defenseman still the number one priority for me. After that, they need a fourth line center. And hey, I like Podkolzin and Kapanen. I don't want to go in the playoffs with both of them in my top 6 because I don't think either one of them is a good enough finisher. So you could probably say 3 places. Like Evander Kane, I don't know how much you can rely on him because I don't know how he's going to respond when he comes back. Like if he sits out all year and if he comes back in mid-March and gets a full month in, well, that's different. But that also impacts your salary cap. So to me, those would be the 3 spots. I'd want a top 6 right winger, a fourth line center, and a top 4 right defense.
How many more years on Kane's contract?
1 more after this. So we will. Hey boys, don't cut them short. They're 9-2, not 8-2. 9-2.
Well, in the
all right,
last 10 it shows at NHL.com. Last 10,
10-2.
Come on, now it's at 8-2.
Yeah. Well, they were 9. They're 10-3 actually. If we want to get technical, in their last 13, which is
why are we picking
good.
13 games now?
Why are you picking 10?
Because that's what it says on NHL.com. Last 10. Look at how great things are going. We're arguing how many wins in the Oilers' hot streak. It's plenty. That's how many.
Hey, Gregor, what are you talking about? Did you see the Florida game? Bouchard didn't get reprimanded at all. Okay, but let's look at the play, Ivan. So are you going to bench a player because he trips over his feet at the blue line? No coach in his right mind will do that. Okay, so that's the first play of the game, right? That's the one. Now you look at the other goal that Bouchard was involved in was the fifth goal where the fourth goal where Skinner gets rocked in the neutral zone. Then they dump it in. There's 2 guys. Florida's forecheck and Edmonton's forwards are just standing in the neutral zone, really not doing anything. Could Bouchard have reversed the play 100%, right? He struggled completely. He missed, I want to say, 3 passes that led to icing, right? And his minutes were down that game, but they're not going to, there's just a difference, whether it's right or wrong. Like Jeff Skinner hasn't done much, and he's made a lot of turnovers. Like Bouchard's, you're not going to reprimand a guy for tripping over his own feet. Right? Like it was a weird game. Ekholm tripped when him and Reinhart he just lost his balance game for that puck. Right? Like I still don't understand how that happened, if I'm being honest. Right? Just like the Bouchard one. How many times do we watch a defenseman walk the blue line? No problem. And then he stumbles and it was like he was in figure skates. Because anybody who has figure skates knows how it is. It's like toe pick, boom, he's back. And he was down. So that's not something that gets you reprimanded.
Did you jump out of your chair when Connor scored last night?
No.
You never jump out of your chair?
No.
I jumped out of my chair.
Yeah.
That was a huge goal. When Ekholm scored no T, I jumped out again.
Hey, Gregor, what's your thoughts on Yoki Haru out of Buffalo? No thanks. $3.3 million for a third pair right defenseman? Nope. Oh, I don't think he defends well enough. I don't think he's even on the Oilers' radar for a third pair playoff defender. Let's take a quick break. When we return, we got Gord Wilson joining us. We'll set up the Senators because the Oilers got back-to-back game this weekend. We talk Sharks in hour number 1. We'll go Sens next.
When interest rates are low, that's a good time to buy a vehicle. And 0% means it's a great time to buy. Right now, St. Albert Dodge can set you up with 0% financing on hundreds of vehicles. Virtually all new 2024 models. Jeep Compass, Wrangler, Grand Cherokee, and Wagoneer. 0%. Dodge Durango and Hornet. 0%. Ram 1500, 2500, and 3500 trucks, all as low as 0%. Why pay interest? Head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta? New players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet every week all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Experience more at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Come for Canada's largest trade show, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. Stay for the experience. But it doesn't end there. Maximize your brand exposure with Edmonton Expo Centre's new cutting-edge feature screens, spanning Western Canada's largest venue space. Captivate an annual audience of over 1 million visitors during iconic events like Pro Rodeo, Disney on Ice, Glow, K-Days, and so much more. To learn more, call 780-660-0514 or visit edmontonexpocentre.com today.
Now, all sizes of premium roast coffee at McDonald's have a new low price starting at $1 plus tax for a small. It's great if you love great tasting coffee. $1 small premium roast coffee every single day. Must be McCafe. Plus tax at participating restaurants in Canada. Excludes delivery.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantor. Since 2016, we've been at the forefront of hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada. I'm delighted to share our latest venture, in-house production for quicker turnaround, superior quality, and heightened versatility. Experience excellence at cantorque.com.
The Canada-wide clearance is on at GMC. Get a $7,500 cash credit on 2024 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab elevation models. With Sierra's 13.4-inch diagonal premium GMC infotainment system with Google built-in compatibility, available off-road package with hill descent control, plus an available 3-liter Duramax diesel engine, you can take the road less traveled and try new things, like fishing or whitewater rafting. I should have gone fishing. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
My utility bills are going through the roof. How can I take advantage of the sun and put my lazy roof to work?
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Energy team reporting. When you're ready to make your home or business more efficient, Action Electrical has the power to install solar panel systems and EV chargers.
Facing an electrical menace? Call on the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta with supercharged skills and strong family values. ActionElectrical.net.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Japa is digging deep on their 50-year history of supporting Alberta's construction industry with their line of special edition Blackout excavators. Visit japamachinery.com for all the details.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
328. Awesome. Hey, Jason, I'd like to personally take a $200 spot in the pyramid, and then my company, Polymore Canada, will take $500 on the pyramid. That one comes from Doug. I was listening to your story about starting the month of giving and it reminded me it's time to donate again. Thanks for what you do, from Doug. Well, Doug, thank you. So there, he's another 200 gone, another 500 gone. I like that we're building from the most expensive down today. It's fantastic because so now we have one $500 slot left, 6 $200, and 14 $100. And then we fill up the pyramid, and Sergey and everybody at All-Star Construction is going to match it. So 833-401-1440. Let's fill out some of those $100 ones. Usually those are the easiest ones to fill. It's Positive Friday. So let's get them rolling, 100, 200, and 500. Or you know what? Maybe we could fill it reverse. We got the thousands done. We can get 500. Then we'll get a few twos, and we'll just leave the 100s for the final hour. I'm fine with it. We can go the opposite. We can be Costanza. We'll do the opposite. We'll build it from the top of the pyramid down. However it works. It's great for me. So 833-401-1440. Also, Larry just came in. Larry is in at 100. There you go, Larry. So now we're down to 13. Awesome. Very much appreciated. Let's get to In the Room, brought to you by Action Electrical. Building owners can earn a 30% refundable federal tax rebate for their solar projects' capital costs. It's a big saving. It's called the ITC. If you want to learn how to activate it, go to actionelectrical.net. They can help you out. Also, Paul just came in at $100 as well. So thank you very much, Paul. We appreciate it. As we are going to talk a little Ottawa Senators. Right now, the Sens are on fire. Gord Wilson, analyst for the Senators, joins us. Gord, how you doing?
I'm fabulous. Thank you. Yeah, boy, the Ottawa Senators are very much like your donators today. You're hot and heavy here this afternoon. It sounds absolutely wonderful. Yeah. And you know what? The view from where I sit regarding the Ottawa Senators, if you're a Senators fan, is absolutely wonderful of late as well.
Well, they've been waiting for this, Gord. Like, this was a long time coming. The Sens, maybe didn't get off to the best start they wanted, but they've been rolling lately. Allmark's been unreal in goal, 7-0 in his last 7 starts. He's got 2 shutouts. He's only allowed 7 goals. So let's start there in Linus Allmark. He had a little bit of an injury. Is that what was holding him back? What's all of a sudden switched? Now this guy is looking all world.
The all world, right? And it was just 2 years ago where he won the Vezina Trophy and winning 40 games for the Boston Bruins. There are a couple of things, Jason, that have tweaked my interest in Allmark, because he got off to a good start. Okay, he picked up a victory in the first game that he played as an Ottawa Senator, and it was against the defending Stanley Cup champs. And then I think shortly after that, he kind of hit a speed bump. He hurt himself. He got a little bit hurt, and there was some discomfort that kept him off the ice a little bit, didn't practice with the team, so he lost a little bit of rhythm, lost some timing with new teammates, and it was painfully obvious to see that he was struggling a little bit. And I think everybody was, certainly regarding the Senators, were a little bit concerned. But at the same time, they knew what they had in this goaltender, and not that far removed, obviously, from 3 fabulous seasons with the Boston Bruins. So they wanted to get him healthy. They wanted to get him settled in Ottawa and happy. And, we often talk about players needing time to settle in their new environment, and it's a new team, a new city, this, that, and everything else. And it's almost almost a little bit of a built-in excuse if a new player gets off to a bit of a slow start. Yeah. It doesn't usually apply to goaltenders, but in this case, I think it does. And I think the adjustment was maybe a little longer than anticipated, but certainly worth the wait, right? He's new team, new city. It's not Boston defending in front of him anymore. It's the Senators, and he had to adjust to that. He had to adjust to tendencies from 6 new defensemen in front of him, what forwards' tendencies were in the defensive zone. And I think he's a real student of the game. He's very, very bright, and he analyzes things very well, processes quickly and analyzes quickly. And as a result, it's taken just a little bit more time, perhaps, but looks very comfortable right now between the pipes for sure.
And I look at their team, they're getting, when they do score, they're getting contributions up and down their lineup. Like, I look at Shane Pinto, for instance. I was kind of surprised when I looked at his goal totals. It was so low, but now he's kind of got rolling. Ridley Gregg scored that massive shorthanded goal the other day. My nephew's chipped in with 4 goals this year. And obviously Adam Gaudette he's being like the biggest surprise. Now he's kind of slowed down a bit because I don't think anybody expected him to be a 40-goal scorer. But man, like his goal scoring early came completely out of nowhere. It was unreal to watch.
It's interesting because if you ask him, did this come out of nowhere? He will say no. And he actually said in one post-game show, and I think it was after his 13th goal, had a chance to talk to him after the game, and he kind of looked at me and said, I don't want to sound like I'm bragging, but I have scored at every level I've played in. And I just nodded and acknowledged that he was exactly right. Okay, 44 goals to lead the American Hockey League last year. The Senators did sign him, though, I can tell you. It's a 2-way contract that he's on, so they did sign him to be their top guy in Belleville. this season. So he comes into training camp and he's got a great attitude. He's 28 years old, so he knows, you know what, there's time is running out to be a regular NHLer. And boy, he's made the most of attitude and certainly productivity, given the chance to play in a top 6 role. And he's taking advantage of it with a career high now, 13 goals this season.
Gord Wilson joins us. Ottawa Senators in Vancouver tomorrow and then into Edmonton on Sunday. Both teams will be playing 3 games in 4 days. The only difference is Ottawa's obviously traveling from Calgary to Vancouver and then into to Edmonton. So, it's not a huge travel, but it's still some travel, Gord. Give me your thoughts on Jensen and what he's brought to the back end.
Yeah, just before I do that, the travel has been interesting because it started in Seattle. We've bounced around time zone to time zone. You ask me now what time it is and what day it is, and I have no idea, Jason. Honestly, to goodness, I have no idea. When Connor sent me a text asking if I could come on, I said, well, what time is that? Vancouver time, please, because we're in Vancouver here now, and I think it's Friday. That being said, Nick Jensen has been probably Ottawa's best defenseman, most consistent defenseman this season. It's been for somebody, and I've seen him in the East, right? We've seen a lot of them play over the years, but not up close and personal on an everyday basis. And one of the important factors about Nick, steady Nick, is he has increased the playing value of Thomas Chabot. And Thomas has had a hard time in Ottawa over the last couple of years because of injury, because of role. He's often, prior to this season, often been slotted as the number 1 minute muncher. In other words, led the team in ice time for so many years and probably played 4 or 5 minutes too many a night. And as a result of that, he ended up pacing himself more than anything throughout the course of hockey games. And you didn't get full value for his talents. With Nick on his wing here now, or on the right side, with Thomas staying on the left side, it stabilized Thomas. And he's had, well, his best season in quite some time, in my opinion. So that's the added bonus with Nick Jensen. Not only is he just a solid defenseman who plays his position and is as tough as nails to battle against. You want to talk about professionals, you'll look Nick Jensen in the eye and you'll see right and have one conversation with him, and you'll know right away that this young man is very, very professional and dedicated to his craft. So with that professionalism, add to that the tandem that he's formed, or the pairing or partnership that he's formed with Thomas Chabot, it's been a real added bonus for sure for the Senators.
What's the update on Zub?
Oh, he's still a few weeks away, Jason. He's got he broke his foot. So tomorrow will be his 13th miss. It'll be his 14th on Sunday. Last I heard, I was told don't expect him until after Christmas, and maybe well after Christmas. So it was supposed to be about a 6 to 8, maybe 6 to 10 week healing process. It's unfortunate because he's a top 4 defenseman on this team, and the Senators do miss him. Jake Sanderson was expected to be paired with Artem all season long. It hasn't obviously happened. Artem's been hurt a couple of times so far this season. So they're not getting the most out of Artem, and unfortunately they're not getting the most out of Jake Sanderson.
Yeah.
He's been paired mostly with Travis Hamonic, and Hamonic's been fine, but he's not Artem Zub.
No.
And that's probably affected Jake Sanderson's game a little bit as well.
Gord, David Perron, of course, had the big personal family issue with his young daughter, and thankfully that came out positive for him. But he really hasn't played much at all for the Senators. He came back and got banged up again. My understanding is so. Or is it still more family issues with David Perron? And how much do they miss him in your eyes?
Well, they miss him. There's he's got a mid-body injury, I guess I'll put it that way. He's been bothered by something, and this will be his coming up this weekend, 14th and 15th games that he'll be missed in the lineup. And they brought him in to be, one of those veteran players here who is supposed to help the young guys and show the young guys the way. And obviously, he's only played, I think, 9 games, if I'm not mistaken. His loss has been a big one. I don't think he's been fully healthy all season long, and obviously weight of the world on his shoulders with the personal problems that he and his family encountered to start the season. So it's a wait and see for David as far as his health is concerned. This absence, though, is body health injury related and nothing personal, which is obviously a huge plus as I find some wood to knock on here.
Yeah. Gord, is Allmark going to play in Van Saturday and then Forsberg and Edmonton Sunday?
You know what? That's the big question mark going into this weekend's games. And he's played an awful lot of hockey. And, well, I won't say he looked fatigued at all against Calgary last night in the 3-2 overtime win, but I can understand that there will be some mental fatigue going into this weekend. He's expected to play one of the two. Which one? I wish I could tell you. There was not a skate for the Senators today as they try to catch up a little bit and catch their breath. I'm curious to find out myself because the backup is a young 22-year-old by the name of Levi Merilainen, who was having a good season in Belleville, which is where he should be right now. But an injury to Anton Forsberg, the Senators' backup goaltender, last weekend, an off-ice injury, has prevented him from playing at all this week and even joining the team this week.
Oh, okay.
So one of the two games will be Levi Merilainen. Not sure which one. My guess is it could be tomorrow against Vancouver and then Allmark against you guys, the Oilers, on Sunday.
Yeah, see, I thought Travis Green would look and say, hey, I want to get at least a split, and I'm going to go with my starter against my former team.
Yeah, that would be 5 games in 8 days, if I'm not mistaken, for Linus. And in this whole stretch, and it's all well and good to say, oh, goaltenders can, they can away they go, they're fine. But it's the mental fatigue as well. And when you start settling in with some fatigue mentally, that can lead to physical issues. And that's the last thing the Senators want to have happen. They've got to look to the long term and go from that and possibly make a decision moving on from that. So, a split, he certainly gives you the best chance at a split, but a split means both games. And if you lose tomorrow night against Vancouver, then maybe your best goaltender goes on Sunday. And I'll mark against you guys.
And one last one for you, Gord. Who knew that all the Senators needed to get fired up was some soft tampering allegations? Because ever since that's come out, they're on fire.
Well, you know what? It was an interesting message that was sent, right?
Yeah.
And there was an awful lot of talk and external noise about Brady. This isn't the first time that Brady's been in the news in Ottawa, and not the first time that people have had to address it. I think at one point there was the coach who addressed his play, and I know social media questioned his leadership skills and abilities. Like, it's beyond belief. This guy is somebody that all 32 teams would want and stand in line for hours and hours to get, right? He's just that type of player. And last night, a great example, takes 9 stitches in the lower jaw area, right around his lip. He said he was so frozen after the mouth and face was so frozen he could barely talk, but he was able to mumble out some words to us post game after him scoring the game winning goal. But the soft tampering allegations, I loved how Mr. Andlauer spoke out about this, and basically, I think, I'm not 100% certain on this, but I would have thought that based on Mr. Andlauer coming out and saying something, it gave the general manager, Steve Staios, an opportunity to maybe address the team and say, you know what, we've got your back, we've got your family's backs, and this is a family. And it's, you know what, there can be some, we kind of chuckle about it, but there can be galvanizing points throughout the course of a season, and maybe that was one of them.
Gord, great stuff, man. Appreciate it. Enjoy Vancouver. Get some. It's 2:43 Vancouver time, Gord. Just in case you want to go down for a little afternoon sauna. You don't want to miss it. And then we will see you tomorrow Sunday in Edmonton.
I'm just thankful that you reminded me of where I am, too. That's even better. All good. Thank you, Jason. Thanks for having me.
Oh, there you go. That's a voice color analyst for the Senators, Gord Wilson. And the Sens are playing well. And it's like Allmark has been great. So I can understand. He's like, geez, Edmonton's the better team, so let's save him for them. The 5 games in 8 days, that's a factor for sure. He did go back-to-back last weekend because Forsberg got injured. Right? You don't see it very often, but he's played well. And so I'm sure Travis Green will talk to him and say, okay, how you feeling? Do you want to go one more? And then you rest. You get Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, because they got a long break, do the Senators. They're like the Orders. They play Sunday, then they don't play until after Christmas again. I think the Sens don't play till the 28th, actually. So they get a good stretch off. And you know what? We'll see. But, they'll talk to all the specialists and find out. But so Oilers might get Allmark on Sunday. We'll see. Obviously, you'd much rather get the rookie, you would think, but you never know. There's 2 ways to look at it from his perspective. You can say, hey, I want to get a win. Let's play our starter right now. He's rolling against Vancouver, and then we'll roll the dice into Edmonton, see what happens. Or he says, maybe we'll roll the dice. The rookie comes in Vancouver, and it's going to elevate our guys, and everybody's like, hey, we got to play well for this guy. So we'll see.
Noah Gregor, 4 goals.
Yeah, he's got a role there. He's enjoying it. Younger team.
Yeah.
So he's right from day one, really. Like Travis Green had a long conversation with him, and it's something that you'd be surprised at how some coaches aren't great communicators at the NHL level.
Mm-hmm.
Blown away, I think. In fact, how people just have conversations, outline exactly what your expectations are of a player, and when you have that, it's on the player. And if the player doesn't do it, then it's easy for the coach to say, hey, remember the conversation we had? I'm going to put you in this role. I want you to do this, this, and this. And then if you do that and the coach isn't giving you the minutes, then you, as a player, can say, hey, wait a sec. We had a meeting. You said you wanted me to do A, B, C. I've done A, B, C. What's going on? Right? It's better for both sides. But, man, I've talked to so many players that from some coach to the next, you'd be amazed that some are just not very good communicators.
There are some coaches that's like their coaching style, right? To be all mysterious with some players and like not necessarily communicate. But that's old school.
No, I don't think it works anymore, to be honest. Hey, we got lots of donations. We'll update you then. Hey, the pyramid is filling in nicely. We still got some ways to go, 100 and 200, and we only need one more $500 donation at 833-401-1440 in our eWell inbox.
Well, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Mr. Rooter decorates a gingerbread house.
Wow. What did you do here, Mr. Rooter?
Well, we've got a Jube Jube toilet, complete with an icing-based wax seal. The main water line is licorice, red for hot, black for cold. You got your standard marshmallow hot water tank and a candy cane sewer line. And on the outside, candy corn hose pips. Disgusting, but they get the job done.
To have your Yule clogs fixed, trust one plumber, Mr. Rooter.
Didn't get a holiday bonus? At Wolf GMC Buick, we have the bonus you need. Get 0% financing on our most popular trucks like the Sierra half-ton crew cab during GMC's Canada-wide clearance. Or select up to $8,500 on a number of Sierras. If you're looking for heavy duty, we have that too. Get GMC employee pricing on our Sierra HDs, Yukons, and the all-new GMC Hummer EV. And seeing it's the holidays, a $500 bonus on select 2024 and 2025 models. But when the holidays are done, so are these deals. Get to Wolf GMC Buick today.
Get early access to the Bricks Boxing Week blowout. Shop real Boxing Day prices now with deals for every room of your home. Shop Door Crasher specials like a 3-piece stainless steel appliance package for just $18.97. Take up to $3,000 off big screen TVs, up to $2,000 off sectionals, and up to $750 off sofas. Plus, buy more, save more on dining and bedroom furniture. Up to 25% off. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle bells.
Tired of the same old holiday tunes? Spice things up with the sound of a Wilhauk beef jerky bag being torn open. It's the carol that everyone wants to hear, promising a chorus of tender, perfectly spiced beef jerky. This holiday season, make sure you're Wilhawking around the Christmas tree with Alberta's best beef jerky. Available at Wilhauk Beef Jerky in Leduc.
Delicious news. The McDonald's meals you love are now $9.99 every day. Grab your faves like the Big Mac, 6-piece McNugget, McChicken, or Filet-O-Fish with medium fries and a medium fountain drink for $9.99 each plus tax. At participating McDonald's restaurants in Edmonton, Alberta, and the surrounding area. Prices exclude delivery.
Portions of this hour brought to you by UL. Get your power play amped up with UL, supplying the City of Champions and Alberta with quality electrical gear since 1975. UL.ca is your partner in power.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
I love it. 350. As we got a bit of surge there. So we had Larry, Paul, Marty, and Buff all came in at $100, and Dean added a $200 one. So, hey, we need, we filled out the 200s. We're halfway on those. So we need 5 more $200 donations. We need 1 $500 donation, and we're down to 10 $100 donations, and we will fill out the pyramid. Now, if you want to keep going, we can always add more. If you want to do another 1,000, because we got those two from Deli and Todd already. And a big shout out to Sergey at All-Star Construction, because they're going to match the pyramid today as we help out Adopt a Teen. So we're getting closer, but still a little bit of ways away. So 833-401. If I do the math quickly in my head, we're exactly 2/3 of the way there to fill it out. So we have 10 100s, 5 200s, and 1 $500 donation. And so, hey, that's only 16 listeners. It's a very small percentage. So if you want to help out today for Adopt a Teen, Positive Friday, you get home, you feel good about yourself. You're like, hey, man, we're helping some people. It's awesome. And Anna and her team at Adopt a Teen, they'll call you, you talk on the phone. Any questions you have on where it goes and everything. And people asking, how do you pay? E-transfer we always recommend, because then Visa doesn't take any of it. 100% of it goes to the charity if you can do it. But they will gladly take a Visa, don't worry. But e-transfer ideally if you can, but either way, just send your number and they'll give you the options on how you do it. I know some people have actually driven down there and just dropped them off a check. All good, man. There's no bad way to get them their money. We do have lots of text flying in. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey boys, communication is not a skill, it's a choice. From Noel, and that's fair. I think it definitely is a choice. But I think there is some skill at being a better communicator. Like, you can try to communicate, right? And here's the thing. Communicating with Wanye about something will be different in how you have to communicate with Connor or with myself, right? Because you can go about it different. Some players like it as direct as possible. Boom. Some need to be, patted on the back. Others need to be kicked in the rear. It all depends. Just like a parent can tell you, your children, you can't just have, well, this is how I act and talk to all of them the exact same way, right? Some are a little bit more sensitive, some are a little bit more stubborn, and they're all siblings, but they're different. So you're right, it is a choice, but I think it's a choice to know what communication form works with each individual player.
And some players need to have the coach be the enemy. The I'll show you attitude is a powerful motivator for a lot of athletes. And coaches know which guys that they need to use the kind of carrot versus the stick.
Yeah, for sure. I would agree. Now, let's talk a little football. Brian Diardo joins us from CBS Sports. Our football report brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Home to no payments, no interest for 1 full year on your furnace at legacyheating.ca. Brian, 1978, the last time we witnessed the fair catch kick that we saw last night. Obviously, for a variety of reasons, it is very, very rare to see it. We've had a lot of people wondering, well, why wouldn't you do that on every fair catch in the final minute to give it as an option? I don't know about that. I haven't looked into it enough, but what did you make of the play? And it's kind of a new wrinkle you don't see very often in the NFL.
Yeah, guys, and thanks for being with you. And I'm going to be completely transparent. I was not working last night, so instead of seeing that happen in real time, I was watching Sesame Street with my 2-year-old daughter for about the 15th time. But I did see what happened, obviously, and it is such a rare play. And I'm kind of surprised we don't see it more. And I think the reason why we don't is because it's such an obscure thing that has to happen for that scenario to occur. So, but yeah, I mean, it's crazy that the last time we had seen that, I was not alive. And really, I give Dicker a lot of credit because I don't think that's as easy as people think, like, because he's not kicking under normal circumstances. And when I saw the replay, I was kind of surprised that he made it with such ease. Because I do think it's kind of a harder kick that they don't necessarily practice very often. So, but it was an interesting thing to see. And, you know, for the Chargers, and I live in a house with Bengal fans, and they were certainly happy because with the Chargers winning and the Broncos losing, the Bengals playoff hopes are still alive. But yeah, that was a very interesting sequence that we saw. And yeah, it just kind of goes to show you, and I'm sure there's similar situations in hockey. I guess in hockey, you know, the penalty shot used to be kind of something we almost never saw. And now that's something that we see obviously more often with the overtimes and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it was certainly a unique play and an interesting way to kick off Week 16.
You look at the Chargers and the Broncos, and, you know, the teams chasing them, Miami and Cincinnati, they were all rooting for Denver, I think, to win in that game, because now they're going to have to win out and then hope that those guys lose out. So it's pretty, especially when you look at the competition. But of the Chargers or the Broncos, which team do you like best to upset a team in the first round?
Chargers. And, you know, it's funny, a few weeks ago, I had to kind of predict for work, like, you know, the AFC playoff wildcard contenders and what's going to happen. And I had the Broncos slumping. And at that point, they I think were 8-5 or something like that. And my editor DM'd me. He had edited my story and said, "You're crazy, by the way." You know, he goes, "You're crazy to think that Denver's going to fall and Cincinnati might climb back into this thing." And the main reason why I thought that was quarterback. Well, there were two reasons: quarterback play, and I had seen that defense start to sputter. I think I had written that just after I saw Jerry Jeudy just go off for the Browns against, I think it was Monday night against Denver. And, you know, that defense for Denver had been so good for so long, but it seems like that secondary's gotten a little bit leaky. You know, last night, to be honest, when I saw, you know, whatever, you know, I did see parts of the game, they just looked gassed, to be honest with you. And then that last touchdown pass that Herbert threw to his running back, I believe, you know, that running back's not a scat back. It's, you know, I'm not talking about a Darren Sproles or anything like that. This was a big power back, and he just outran Denver secondary. So I think their defense is fading. And again, rookie quarterbacks, right? We can go forever. We can go Ben Roethlisberger 20 years ago. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a rookie first-year starting quarterback play lights out great for an entire year. They typically hit some sort of wall, and I think the Bo Nix is hitting that wall. I mean, you know, it's funny because, you know, Jaden Daniels was the easy runaway rookie of the year for a while, and then Nix made this nice comeback. And now it seems like, you know, Daniels might be poking in ahead. So to answer your question, to me, it's the Chargers, and a big reason why is their defense is more consistent. It's still not like a great unit, but it's very solid. They've seemed like they've managed J.K. Dobbins' injury, and they're kind of getting that running game re-solidified. But Herbert, you know, he's not going to win league MVP. He's not really in league MVP conversations, but I think he's having, you know, maybe his best season, not statistically, but his ball placement, his poise. He's played through injuries. For sure, the Chargers would be the tougher out between the two teams. And I think, yeah, for sure.
Looking ahead to this weekend, and are you expecting Mahomes to play?
Yeah, he's going to play. He's going to play. He was a full participant all week, which kind of blew my mind. Like, I was looking through all the injury reports just now for work, and I just saw that he didn't even miss a single practice. So, but to your point, like, you know, we've seen trickery happen before, but I don't think that'll happen. I don't think he's going to finish the season. I mean, the big thing for them is they need the Bills to start falling off, which I don't think they will. I mean, for the Chiefs, you know, they need to make sure they get that number one seed. That's such a coveted thing now, you know, in the NFL, since they got rid of the top two teams in each conference getting a bye. Now it's only one team. I mean, they still have a nice lead over Buffalo, but they don't have a lot of margin for error, so they need to keep him healthy. And the Texans are a tough enough team where they need Patrick Mahomes to play. So yeah, I would imagine he will play. And depending on what happens this weekend, he'll probably play against the Steelers on Christmas in 5 days from now.
Yeah, I wonder, maybe he wasn't as injured, and maybe people are overreacting about his injury at the end of the day, and so that's fine. But the Chiefs do have lots to play for, in the sense that everybody knows home field advantage at the top can matter, especially if it's an Arrowhead, right? Like they, unless it's Joe Burrow, which probably won't be this year. There's not a lot of teams who have success at Arrowhead, other than the Chiefs.
No, I think he's the only player, him and Tom Brady, to beat Mahomes. Mahomes, those are the only two quarterbacks that beat Mahomes in the playoffs in Kansas City, I think, period, actually. And, Brady's not going to do it. And now I will say with the Bengals, if they can beat the Browns this weekend, they get the Broncos the next week.
Mm-hmm.
And then if they win those two games, if they beat the Steelers week 18 and Denver loses, they're in the playoffs, assuming the Dolphins and I believe one other team has to, the Colts. They both have to lose one game, which I think they both will. So I wouldn't entirely rule out the Bengals just yet. But if the Chiefs get the number 1 seed, now you're saying the Bengals need to win a wild card game as well. But no, I wouldn't rule them out just yet, especially if they can beat Cleveland this Saturday or Sunday, which I think they will. I think Thompson Robinson is going to start for the Browns. He has very little experience, and as bad as the Bengals defense has been, I think that they'll take advantage of him, and I do think they're going to get one step closer to a possible wild card this weekend.
Looking into the opposite conference, and you've got Philadelphia, Detroit, and Minnesota now. They're all 12-2, and the Lions have been absolutely ravaged by injuries. I saw a tweet the other day that had like their starting game 1 roster, and then their roster and all the guys that are hurt. And you're just like, oh my God. Like at some point, Brian, you just can't overcome this many injuries, can you?
I don't know a team that has. I mean, I can go back 30 some years. I can go back to the 1990 Giants did it, but they didn't have this many injuries. Now they lost their starting quarterback and running back. But it just so happened they had a borderline Hall of Fame running back behind their starter, and they had Jeff Hostetler, who was good enough behind Phil Simms. But I'm dating myself. I'm going back a long time for that one. But no, and I watched Detroit play Buffalo, I think 2 weeks ago. And I think it was almost a foreshadowing of what's happened to them and what they might need to do in the playoffs. That was the game that there was 82 combined points scored, and they lost 48 to, well, I can't remember my math, but both teams I think were in the 40s that game or something close to that. And the Lions offense started slow. They were down 21-7, and then they had to rally all the way back. And that to me showed, man, like the Lions offense almost has no margin for error. Because the only difference to me in that game, there were a few plays the Bills made the Lions didn't, but really it was the Bills offense basically scored on every possession, and the Lions started a little slow. So with all the injuries, especially on defense, the Lions cannot really afford for their offense to have slow starts. They need to come out. They need to get quick leads. They need to get turnovers. That's how they're going to win. And Jamar Gibbs is going to have to assert himself as a number 1 back, which he hasn't had to do so far in his career. But they're going to have to rely more on Goff, like you said. They're going to have to try to force more turnovers. But yeah, they're clearly, to me, like, I'm not going to say they're dead yet, because their offense is still very prolific. They've still got their main stars. They've still got Goff, obviously, and they have other weapons on offense. Amon-Ra St. Brown's one of the best receivers in the league. Tim Patrick actually is coming on strong. If you're a fantasy player, I'd pick him up. He's come on lately. If you need a receiver for your slot there. But no, I would say that they're behind now the Eagles and the Vikings in the NFC pecking order for sure.
Yeah, the Vikings, man, like that story just keeps getting better all the time with Sam Darnold. Like they've got their young quarterback of the future, but what do you think they do in the offseason? Like what is Sam Darnold? Like they win 2-3 rounds in the playoffs. Like are they automatically just going to go with McCarthy next year?
I wouldn't.
Yeah, me neither.
I wouldn't. And no, I mean, and you can look back to again, I date myself with some of my references, but you go back to 2000 with the Buccaneers, right? They have Trent Dilfer. They win the Super Bowl, but their offense wasn't that great. Their defense kind of carried them, but Dilfer made enough plays for them to win the game. And then that offseason, they say, you know what? No, we need Elvis Grue back. Well, they lost in the divisional round, and they probably regretted that decision. So to me, it's like, if you don't think of the name, you just look at the resume, you just look at what he's done, there's no reason why you wouldn't re-sign him. The big question is going to be, is he going to choose to re-sign there? That's going to be the $1 million question, because there's going to be a lot. I would imagine there will be several teams that will try to reach out to him, that will try to get him. But the one thing that we have learned, and it's been kind of surprising, we saw it with Tom Brady in 2020, that you think these quarterbacks that are available are going to get scooped up. That's not always the case.
Right.
Even we saw with Russell Wilson. I mean, we saw that. I think only a couple of teams were interested in him. He chooses to go to Pittsburgh. So I think that he's going to stay, and I think that would be a very wise decision. I mean, I watched his game on Monday. He's not the greatest quarterback in the world, but he makes enough plays, and he obviously has the receivers. And what I love about him is he takes advantage of his receivers. He throws the ball to his playmakers, and that's what a quarterback needs to do first and foremost.
Brian, great stuff, man. Enjoy the weekend. Very Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. And we'll talk to you again in 25.
Sounds great. Thanks again.
That's Brian Diardo joining us from CBS Sports. Big weekend in the National Football League. But yes, if you are a fan of the Bengals or a fan of the Colts, I guess, had a slim chance. The Miami Dolphins, all the teams with 6 wins. The fact that the Chargers win last night. So now those 3 teams, you got to win out and then hope that the Chargers don't win a game. And then we got to look at tiebreakers. I haven't even looked at the tiebreaker for the Broncos yet or the Chargers, but they're both 9-6. So, worst case scenario, they would be 9-8. And then best case scenario for the Colts, the Bengals, and the Dolphins is they can be 9-8. Like, it's really low odds. All it has to, the Chargers and Dolphins, all they need is 1 win to guarantee themselves a playoff spot. Now we can get into losses from the others, but let's just look at those teams. They get a win, they're in. Quick break. We'll come back. We'll update you on the month of giving. We had a great first 2 hours. We'll continue that and more after Connor Halley and his Sports 1440 update, brought to you by Fountain Tire. Be winter ready with stopping power. Up until the end of this month, you can save up to $125 on a set of 4 select tires, plus save $50 or more on a service of $150 or more. Right now at fountaintire.com.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Busy night tonight in the NHL. The Maple Leafs in Buffalo taking on the Sabres. Wings host the Canadiens. Blues take on the Panthers. Canes and Caps. Stars host the Rangers. Utah's in Minnesota. And the Ducks hosting the Avs. The Oilers in action tomorrow. Taking on the San Jose Sharks down at the Ice District. 2 o'clock puck drop. Pre-game coverage here on Sports 1440 gets going at 1 with Andrew Walker and Donovan Paulson in the NBA. Got 3 games. Sixers, Hornets, Bucks, Cavs, and the Heat taking on the Thunder in the AJ Devon hosting for Mac GPs in Calgary. Canmore up against Drumheller, and Camrose is in Drayton Valley in the BCHL. Crusaders and Saints meet tonight in Sherwood Park. They'll meet again tomorrow in Spruce Grove. Both of those games starting at 7 o'clock. And the Ravens have placed wide receiver DeAndre Johnson on waivers. College football today. The national playoffs gets going tonight in Notre Dame. Irish hosting the Indiana Hoosiers, and Canadian Curtis Rourke. Down gets going at 6 o'clock. Earlier today, Ohio knocked off Jacksonville State 30-27 in the Staff DNA Cure Bowl. And right now, it's a Union Home Mortgage Gasparilla Bowl. Florida leads Tulane 16-0. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll ask 5 questions and be joined by Craig Button from the NHL on TSN. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Silent Rides is one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies with state-of-the-art motor coaches. We provide our customers with the safest and most reliable ground transportation. Our seatbelt-equipped buses have become the preferred carrier for many local sports teams, tours, corporate outings, and other various travel across Western Canada. For more information and to request a quote, contact Ted Nakamura at 780-940-0880 or visit silentrides.ca.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta, new players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet every week all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
You don't know what awaits you on the road to come, but with the 2025 XC90 from Volvo of Edmonton, you'll have the versatility to take on whatever life throws at you. The new XC90, a luxurious SUV with seating for up to 7, boasts newly upgraded body and wheel design. It's the perfect choice to drive into the coming year. And right now, you'll save $4,500 and lease from 1.49% on all in-stock 2025 XC90s. Volvo Cars Edmonton. VolvoCarsEdmonton.com, 1205 101 Street Southwest.
Now, all sizes of premium roast coffee at McDonald's have a new low price starting at $1 plus tax for a small. It's great if you love great tasting coffee. $1 small premium roast coffee every single day. Must be McCafe. Plus tax at participating restaurants in Canada. Excludes delivery.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Hey, I know you're new here, but when you talk to customers, make sure they know we carry multiple brands.
Okay. Hi there, this is Riverside Motorsports, Yamaha, Suzuki, KTM, Polaris, Gas, Husqvarna, Tittersled, Stasic, Talaria, Climb, Thor, Alpine Stars, 509, Troy Lee Designs, and more. Sales, how can I help you?
Located on St. Albert Trail, rideriverside.com. Riverside Motorsports. What you do for fun is our business.
It feels like the cost of everything has been going up and up and up. That's why Encore's electricity rates are getting really low. With our rates falling lower, you can feel carefree about your bill. A low rate means lower stress. Switch to a new fixed-rate electricity plan with Encore by Epcor and save. Get the lowdown and stay carefree at encore.epcor.com/lowdown. Customers are free to purchase natural gas or electricity services from a retailer of their choice. For a list of retailers, visit ucahelps.alberta.ca or call 310-4822 toll-free.
Hair Aware with Dr. Vance Elliott.
Hey, Doc, I really want my hair restoration to fly under the radar, but I recently read that men have to shave their heads and go full Lex Luthor before treatment.
The majority of my patients don't require head shaving because we can work around it. I can perform a no-shave FUE transplant or an FUT transplant if we determine that a transplant is necessary. Let's discuss your options.
Trust a world-renowned expert in hair restoration. Book an appointment at drvanceelliott.com today.
Portions of this hour brought to you by your Alberta GMC dealers. The Canada-wide clearance is on now at GMC. Get a $7,500 cash credit on a 2024 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab Elevation. See more at gmcoffers.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Positive Friday. How are you? You getting set to make your way home? Or maybe your playoffs are beginning right now as you enter the final countdown for Christmas shopping. I know some of you look at it as a challenge. You're like, can I elevate my game? Can I be ready when it's busier to make the right decisions, the key times? Do you have a plan? I would always say, do you have a plan going in? Maybe some of you don't. You like to fly by the seat of your pants. When I was a last minute shopper, I always had a plan and knew exactly where I was going. So I was in here. I'm out. Not a big shopper. I never loved to peruse. I'm not the guy that would go to store A and, it costs whatever, $28 here. If I go to store B, it's $26. No, I'm not. At that point, I'm just like, do I get what I'm looking for? Then great.
Are you done already?
Yes.
When were you done? What day?
I don't know, 2 weeks ago. But I don't have as many gifts really to buy. My wife probably buys more of them for our son and stuff. And like I say, hey, and she'll be out and she'll say, hey, do you want for your nieces and nephews? I'm like, yeah, this is what I'd like to get them. And then she'll pick it up. I probably would say I did like, out of the gifts I will give, I probably purchased 50% of them. So there you go. But we do a lot of stuff now as our family. When my wife and I, we don't give a lot of gifts to each other. Like, we sponsored a family for the holiday hamper. And then like that to me is kind of like a fun gift for us. We go as a family, you do all the shopping together. You sit down, we wrap the presents together. And it's kind of more of a family thing. Right. And, kind of teaches my son if we're in a position where he can help others, then we should. So he kind of likes it now. Like, you go through the list and, you buy. So it's obviously a little challenging to buy a gift for someone that you've never met. Right. So, we always like this year we got some boy gifts for 6 and 8 year old boys. So we're to say, hey, what'd you like when you were 6 and 8? So he loved it. So he's in there looking around for stuff like that. So it's, I know that's a big delivery day for the holiday hamper tomorrow. So kudos to everybody who's volunteering and everybody else who's helping out on that, which will be great. Now, we had a great first half of the show. So let's finish strong. We had, first of all Construction is going to match the Pyramid of Giving. Sergey, he's on vacation, but he was listening, and he sent us a note. He actually texted us, say, check your email, which is fantastic. Because I don't check the email as much as I check the text line, to be honest. And so there's an email asking if they could match it. Of course, we're going to let them do it. And so our thousands have been filled out, but we'll always take more. We need one $500 donation, 5 200s, and 10 people at 100. So let's get that down right now. Let's get a few hundreds in, 200s. It's all for Adopt a Teen. We're helping out. It's a super important charity for kids, just to feel kind of important and involved and connected, really, I think, at that stage of life. So 833-401-1440. It's 100 bones. I know that's only 16 of our listeners. I know there's 16 of you that got a $100 bill that you could fall out of your pocket and you won't even notice it. You won't. And you know what? That's a good position to be in. So you can help out and feel good about yourself and sponsor a teen and make a big difference for them. Give them a lot of joy, which is the whole point of Christmas, which is giving for sure. So 833-401-1440. It is the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Craig Button is going to join us in a bit here. World Juniors gets going next week. We'll talk about the NHL. The trade freeze is on, but there's all the talk about Barry Trotz is trying to wheel and deal. And I will say, I watched the Vancouver game last night. And now the Oilers don't play Vancouver here for a while. But the Canucks, they don't hardly generate anything offensively. Like, it's amazing the lack, not just of finish, but just the lack of shots and scoring chances they're getting. So we'll talk to Craig about that. We do have lots of texts wondering, hey, Gregor, why would they switch up the D pairs? I know that Ekholm and Bouchard haven't been playing as great as they would like, but the other pairs are working really well. Why wouldn't we just kind of bite the bullet knowing that Ekholm and Bouchard can get back on track? From Steve. It's a fair question, Steve. I think at some point you don't, like, it's really since November 1st, if you look at the numbers, and like, I know some people like to look at expected goals for percentage, and they think that tells you the whole story, but it doesn't tell you the defending story. Because if you're Ekholm and Bouchard and you play a lot of minutes with McDavid and they score a lot, sometimes you're not having anything to do with it. But your expected goal for, which is kind of the percentage of goals for expected to goals against expected. Go look at their expected goals against and see how higher that number is. That to me is the bigger question right now, is and it shows you more of the struggles. And then you just look at who cares about, why is expected more important than goals against? Expected goals means nothing. Goals are what matter. Goals for, goals against win you games. And since November 1st, the Oilers' top pair of Ekholm and Bouchard have simply been on the ice for way too many goals. I don't care about expected goals. Their goaltending save percentage is really good in that time, way better. So you can't say, wow, geez, it's unlucky here. No, they've been on the ice for too many goals against. all that matters to me. Goals against, expected's a nice number. Do you even know the formula that they use for expected goals? And I can tell you that the public data formulas, there's no video involved. It's just great, like, because most of you use natural stat trick, and that's fine. But how many of them are using video to enhance? Okay, because if the shot came from 12 feet, and if it's Leon Draisaitl shooting with time from 12 feet, it's a lot different than Connor Brown shooting or Matthias Janmark. So you start there. Then you put in the fact, well, did they have time? Were they able? Is it just you were there, but you know what? You're on your backhand, you're reaching, you don't get any real velocity on it. But because of the distance, the computer says that's a high danger scoring chance. But is it really? Right? So you got to look way deeper than that, number one. Number two, I just look for the goals against, goals for. And Ekholm and Bouchard, like when you crunch the numbers, I think the reason why is they have been incredibly leaky. And it's a little surprising, to be honest, because we haven't seen that from them as a pair since they got put together. But if you compare, and I'm getting the numbers as we speak, between those four, the other four defensemen, it's pretty significant, the difference right now. So I can see why the coach is like, hey, we can keep pounding our head against the wall here, hoping it's going to change, or, let's just change it. But in the last 21 games, Bouchard's been on the ice for 20 goals against, 5-on-5. Ekholm's been on for 18. Darnell Nurse has been on for 4. And Nurse averages more minutes per game. Now, he's played fewer minutes because he missed 3 of those games. But when he plays, he's playing more minutes 5-on-5. 4 for Nurse, 9 for Stetcher. Right? Like Nurse plays with Kulak, Nurse plays with Stetcher. They don't get scored on. Ekholm and Bouchard. So to me, you don't want to have Bouchard and Ekholm struggles to continue. So maybe you just change out. It might only take a week. All of a sudden, there's a few games and Bouchard doesn't get scored on, starts to feel better about himself. It's just natural. Same thing for Ekholm. So I can see why they'd switch it. This is a case where you're putting Bouchard with Nurse in the hopes that it gets Bouchard going. That's why you're doing it. And last year, you wouldn't have said that, but that's why you're doing it now. So we'll see. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Ian is in at $100. Also, Eric in Beaumont comes in at $100. Nice. So pretty much halfway to our 100. So we need 8 more of those, 5 more 200s and 1 500. And the pyramid is full on a positive Friday. That's fantastic. Thank you, Ian. And Eric, the group at Adopt a Teen will send them your information and they will get a hold of you. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, Wanye, we will chat with Craig Button. It is the Jason Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Remember, Lotto Max tonight. You can get your tickets. Ooh, imagine that. Give yourself a little early Christmas present. Win the Lotto Max, a cool $20 million. Or use the promo code Gregor50 and get a free $50 play at PlayAlberta.ca.
Checking off your gift list can go more smoothly when you give smoothies. From now till December 31st, buy a $30 Booster Juice gift card and gift yourself with any regular size smoothie for free. Try the new salted caramel smoothie made with vanilla oat beverage, vanilla frozen yogurt, and decadent caramel. It pairs magically with the salted caramel booster ball, bursting with Score toffee bites, cinnamon, maple syrup, cashew butter, and more. Happiest of holidays from Booster Juice. Download the Booster Rewards app today.
Get early access to the Bricks Boxing Week blowout. Shop real Boxing Day prices now with deals for every room of your home. Shop door crasher specials like a 3-piece stainless steel appliance package for just $18.97. Take up to $3,000 off big screen TVs, up to $2,000 off sectionals, and up to $750 off sofas. Plus, buy more, save more on dining and bedroom furniture. Up to 25% off. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Now for today's holiday special, Legacy Heating and Cooling saves Christmas. Santa's furnace broke down in the shop last night, and the elves couldn't make any toys, that's right, because the HR lady said it's in humane conditions. But ho, 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 golly gee, Santa got a 1-year guarantee, and the elves are working merrily with a brand new furnace from Legacy. Happy holidays from Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Delicious news. The McDonald's meals you love are now $9.99 every day. Grab your faves like the Big Mac, 6-piece McNugget, McChicken, or Filet-O-Fish with medium fries and a medium fountain drink for $9.99 each plus tax. At participating McDonald's restaurants in Edmonton, Alberta and the surrounding area. Prices exclude delivery.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta, new players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet. Every week, all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply. Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta, new players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet. Every week, all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Ready to move into your dream home today? Now's the time. Jandel Homes is holding a clearance sale, and all homes must go. With show homes available for immediate delivery, you can settle in faster than ever. Visit our sales centers to explore stunning homes and enjoy the lowest prices of the year. With 50 years of experience, we make your home buying journey quick and easy. Don't wait. Call or visit us online now to secure your new home before it's gone. Learn more at jandelhomes.com.
At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, we believe in the wisdom of Patch Adams. Treat a disease, you win, you lose. Treat a person, I guarantee you'll win no matter what the outcome. We don't treat conditions, we treat people. From personalized treatment plans to compassionate care, we're committed to helping you achieve your goal. That's why hands-on techniques, unique technologies, and a commitment to hiring amazing people mixed with friendly, fun neighborhood environments. And ta-da! No, it's not magic. It's about being human. Sometimes being human hurts, but life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantor. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at cantor.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by playalberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
All right, the pyramid just keeps filling, and I got the picture here. Well, it's not a picture, but I got all the numbers. So Eric, Ian, and Sean all came in at $100. Carolyn at $200. So we are down now, getting closer to the nitty gritty. We need 7 $100 donations, 4 $200s, and 1 $500. We'll fill it out. All-Star Construction. Big thanks to them. They're going to match it today. Big thanks. Deli and Todd right away in the first segment. Boom, they jumped all over the $1,000 one. So thanks for that. And Shane and Jason and Doug are all in at 500. And we have Rob, Danny, Karen, Doug, Dean also in at the 200. So, and then Aaron, Larry, and Paul, Marty for the ones. And Buff, I love it. So if you want in, 833-401-1440. You just text us your name, then I pass on your number and your name to the group at Adopt-A-Teen, and they will reach out to you. We always prefer e-transfer, just saying, because then 100% of the money goes. Now, if you can only do Visa, that's totally fine too. But either way, we'll get them their money. I know some of you even send a check to them, which is great. Either way, they get their money. That's fantastic. So if you want to help us out on Positive Friday, 833-401-1440. Let's go around the NHL now. Brought to you by McDonald's $1 coffees. I know all of you love your coffee. You start your day, you need that coffee. I don't know what you're talking about, but I respect it. And you can get it only for $1 right now at McDonald's. As Craig Button, who was part of the Pyramid of Giving last Friday, stepped up, did butts, and he joins us now. Craig, welcome back to the show, my man. How you doing?
Yeah, we made up for your mistakes. Don't worry. You sent me a nice little email. saying that you made a big mistake. It's all good. Don't worry. We got it all taken care of. We've covered you.
Yeah, well, that was a rookie mistake. My computer went down. I'm on location. I don't know if I sent the number. It was brutal. So yeah, that was.
We got it all taken care of. So you know what's funny? I got to tell you this funny story when we talk about. I love McDonald's coffee. Okay, so that's full disclosure. But I've tried to convince my mother for years that McDonald's coffee is really good. So there's two things that like she just gets kind of, she won't drink anything but French red wine, and I can't get her to drink McDonald's coffee. And I've tried to trick her, and
she won't do it.
I didn't trick her. I think I got to put Bailey's in it, then that'll trick her.
Yeah, maybe. Hey, speaking of tricking, Craig, what can the Canucks, like, is it Rick talk? What do they got to do? Like, I saw Thomas Drance tweeting out, and I've watched the Canucks team. Like, it's not that they barely generate any chances. Craig, why is this team struggling to generate offense right now? Because on paper, they should have more than enough offense.
Well, you would think that, right? I mean, I'm amazed. I'm so impressed watching Quinn Hughes play the game. I mean, the way he drives. I mean, he's their leading scorer. So when you have a defenseman that is driving your offense, that's never good. That's never good. JT Miller's a really good player, and JT's back in the lineup, and then you start to go from there. I find that Elias Pettersson's struggles are really impacting the team. Team. Okay, so I just named Brock Besser's a goal scorer. Okay, so I'm going to go to the next act. I've named Miller. I've named Pettersson, who's struggling, and I've named Besser. So Connor Garland's a competitor. Tell me where else the skill is. Hronik's out, so there's no the blue line doesn't have it. Tell me where else there is up front. It's a grind. That's what they got. They got grind. That's what they do. They don't have a lot of skill.
Yeah,
therein lies the problem.
Yeah, maybe. Like I guess I look at Miller and I look at Besser and I look at Pettersson and I look at DeBrusk and I'm like I think that's enough. Like to say, hey, we should be able to score more. What all these rumblings now coming out of Vancouver, and usually, Craig, after a while when there's this much smoke, you're like, there's probably a little fire there about Pettersson and Miller. Not necessarily being on the same page. And if some of your core guys aren't on the same page, it's really hard to have success. A, do you buy it? And B, if it's an issue, what do you do if you're the management team?
Yeah. Okay, so I'll touch on that real quick. I want to go back to just what we were talking about. So Jake DeBrusk is a grinder. He needs a centerman to be able to take advantage of his skills going to the net. Pettersson's a real problem for their team with his play. I'm reading now stuff about how good he is defensively. Wow. So we're paying that guy $11.6 million to be really good defensively. Good luck. I find the excuses for Elias Pettersson are ridiculous. Yeah. At some point in time, Elias Pettersson has to take responsibility for his subpar play. And I would say this straight up. They better stop coddling him. I know you're locked into him for 8 years, this year plus 7 more, but the way he's playing, not good enough. It's not anywhere near good enough. So now we go to the Miller Pettersson thing. So do you think you can trade Elias Pettersson? Not a chance. I don't think you can, not at those dollars, unless you're taking dollars back. So who becomes the guy that every team, not every team, but teams would cover? It's JT Miller.
Oh, yeah.
And I think teams should be interested in JT Miller. That guy, to me, he's the heart and soul of their team. Him and Quinn Hughes are the drivers of their team. And to me, if I'm another team and I'm seeing these rumors and I'm exploring them, I'm phoning Patrick Alvin. Hey, what do you know? We would be interested in JT Miller and everything, and go from there. And then I think that, okay, if that's what they got to do with that situation, so they got to evaluate, will this help Pettersson, or are we going to be left hoping that Pettersson can turn it here? Because what they got to be careful with in Vancouver is what happened with Jonathan Huberdeau in Calgary.
Well, yeah, fair point. I look at Elias Pettersson, and I agree with you. Like, I remember a few years ago, like the problem was sometimes when you only use the analytics to say, well, this makes a good defensive player. I don't buy it. Like, I got to show me the videos that match consistently where this guy's making all these great, like Patrice Bergeron, he had a boatload of videos. You saw it bark off all the time. I don't see Elias Pettersson shutting guys down, Craig, to have these great defensive numbers. I see a guy who's passive and never, at some point, to be a good offensive player, you got to take a chance. Now, there can be smart chances, and then there's super risky chances. But you got to take a chance every now and then. I don't see any remote offensive risk in his game. And so when people say, oh, good defensively, I'm like, I just don't. I see somebody who's passive is what I see.
Well, I think that describes his game right now, Jason. Rick Tocchet continues to say, and he says Elias has got to move his feet. He's got to move his feet. So if you're not moving your feet, that means you're passive, right? Exactly to your point. And Rick Tocchet said it. He's been quoted a number of times. Petey's got to move his feet. Petey's got to move his feet. It's interesting to watch him. He ran into this problem a few years back where he wasn't able to create space and was getting closed off, and he was outside. He was outside the guts of the action. And if you're not inside the dots and you're not attacking, you're not playing on your toes, you're not skating and moving your legs, you're not going to have offensive chances.
Right.
And that to me, that to me is where Elias Pettersson finds himself. The problem is that, the power play, where you think he should shine, he's not shining there either. So, and so now you're not skating, you're not playing in the guts of the action, you're not inside the dots, you're not at the net. So now I'll be good defensively. I'll make sure that I'm in good position defensively. Wonderful. Again, I think it's an important part of the game. $11.6 million. I'll tell you what Bob Goodnow, the former executive director of the NHLPA, told me many, many years ago, because I love the fact that teams are getting all these data with blocked shots and time on ice and everything. It's going to really help the players that block shots and get time on ice when it comes to contract time. All these defensive players are going to go, wait a sec, I can get what Elias Pettersson gets, or maybe just a little bit more than I would get because they're celebrating this. Yeah. They got a big problem. I think they got a big problem in Vancouver.
Oh,
that's what I think.
Yeah, well, I think you're onto something because I would agree with you wholeheartedly on that. One team right now and that doesn't seem to have a lot of problems. It's been a long time coming, I think would be a fair way to say it. The Oilers will face them on Sunday. The Ottawa Senators, Craig, they got lots of guys scoring. They got their goaltender right now is playing out of his mind defensively for them, which is great. But you know what? They're just more competitive. I still think they miss Zub more than people think. And I think it's kind of impacting Sanderson a little bit. But what do you make of the Senators? And is this, do you need to see more yet before you commit? Because many of us have thought they were ready and then they all of a sudden lost 6 in a row. Where are you at with the Senators?
Me included. I expected more from them last year. I thought they were ready to take a step next last year and they didn't. And so to your point, you have to be encouraged with the way they've played the last 2, because it's not just that they've won games, it's the way they've approached the games. It's the way that they've gone into games. Yeah, we use this term lots, and I know you do, and I know that you value it. We talk about the maturing of a team. And what does that mean? It's not about players getting older. It's about players understanding, okay, this is the way we need to play. We don't need to chase the game. We're comfortable playing in a low-scoring game, but we're not going to create vulnerability for ourselves. The Edmonton Oilers are a perfect example of that last year under Chris Knoblauch, and this year again under Chris Knoblauch. Again, Chris Knoblauch to me is just a superb coach for the Edmonton Oilers. And I think that I'm seeing that now happening with the Ottawa Senators. I'm seeing a team that understands, hey, it's 1-1, no problem. We're not going to put ourselves in any harm. And we got enough skill and we got enough understanding of what we got to do. And the goaltender, which they brought in, he's been absolutely phenomenal here for the Senators, really finding his way. I want to see more. Do I have to see more? If they continue to play like this, no, but I want to see more. I don't want it to just be a run of 2.5 weeks or 3 weeks and everything. I think, though, that there's reason to believe that they are turning a corner. Have they turned it fully? They still got to show me a little more.
Craig Button joins us. Craig, what do you make of the Nashville trade with Montreal? Carrier goes to Montreal and Young Barron goes to Nashville.
Yeah, it's interesting. You got Alexander Carrier. He's a small defenseman. in my view. So, Montreal now has, they don't have a lot of size on that back end. David Savard on the right side, but Lane Hudson's not big. Carrier's not big. You can have some of those players in your lineup. You can't have a whole bunch of them, and especially on the back end. And I think that Barry Trotz is trying to make a change. I don't think Justin Barron. I think Justin Barron's a depth defenseman. I don't think he's anything more than that. In the lineup, out of the lineup, in the minors, bounce around, that's what I think he is. I think Carrier, can play on the power play and add some offensive thing, but I don't see him as being able to carry like the bulk of defensive work there. I just don't. And I think that, for Montreal, maybe just looking for a little bit more skill, that can help the power play, a right-hand shot that can help the power play specifically might be the thing that they're really looking for. More than anything, I see this as advantage Montreal, because Justin Barron was just not going to make a difference there. And I don't think he'll make a difference in Nashville.
What about the Kako trade?
Well, it's a perfect example of take a player you draft number 2, devalue them, and get nothing in return. It's one of the biggest mistakes, Jason, that teams make. They draft players, and you project players, and you look at a player and you go, okay, he can be this. But what you got to be really realistic about is what you're projecting. Teams become guilty of over-projecting, and then because they over-project, somehow they become disappointed in the player. And then the player now isn't living up to expectations.
Yep.
Instead of going, okay, what is he? And is this something we really value? Kaapo Kakko to me is a 2/3 line player, depending on how good your team is. 40 points in this league for that level of player, I don't think it's a bad thing. I think that that's good. He's smart, he can play with good players, and he's competitive. But teams make this mistake all the time. The Calgary Flames did it with Sam Bennett. They did it with Sam Bennett. And now the Calgary Flames, as well as other teams, would love to have Sam Bennett. But it's their own mistakes in over-projecting and not being realistic, and then you make a trade like this. It's just, really. I'm not trying to be critical of Will Borgen. He's a bottom pair defenseman. Really? Why don't you just go, would you ever, if I said to you, Jason, hey, listen, we got the 2nd overall pick here coming up in the draft, we're going to trade it for a bottom pair defenseman. You would fire me on the spot if I was the owner.
Yeah, I look at Kaapo Kakko, Craig, and the number one thing I see is another prime example that can be added to my board where I like to have a label that says stupid management, because there's no other way. Stop rushing. Why was Kaapo Kakko in the NHL at 18? He wasn't ready. 98% of players aren't ready as teenagers. He was not ready to be in the NHL, and his first few years were kind of a waste. I didn't understand. And I could go down the list of teams across the league that have done this, especially with European players. Most of them never played in the North American ice. It's a completely different game, and you're seeing it. And if you go look at the history of Euros, Teemu Selanne, the Sedin, go through them. Look until they really became breakouts. Selanne didn't even come here until he was 22. I don't understand how in 2024, with all the data, if a person like me can find it and take time to research it, why can't NHL management teams and say, hey, wait a sec, why do we think our guy is different? Unless it's a McDavid, Nathan McKinnon, Craig, didn't dominate. He was okay, right? But he at least had 50 and 60 points. They're keeping guys in the NHL playing 3rd line barely, 4th line minutes. They're scoring 18 points, and they're like, oh, can't believe he's not improving. Well, no bleep, Sherlock. He's never touching the puck. If he's on the ice, he's just don't make a mistake. It's awful. Yet it keeps happening. I don't get it.
Yeah, and Jason, you're sharp. You know what's going on. So, my dear friend Les Jackson, who's working for the Florida Panthers now, been a manager, assistant manager in the league. There's 2 things that he's always said. We put the NHL on a pedestal, and then we start watching what they do. They don't deserve to be on a pedestal. Just because you're in the NHL doesn't mean that you got some kind of brilliance. It doesn't. And Les has always said this, and I say it all the time. The NHL fails far more players than players fail on their own, which is exactly the other point. And so, Jason, here's what I'm going to tell you. They're never going to learn. And I'm not, when I say there's going to be different examples everywhere around. They're not going to learn because they're incapable. They're incapable of learning. The NFL is taking these quarterbacks high and then put them in. We think that these leagues, oh, look at how great they are and everything. I've been around. I've seen it. Don't put the NHL on a pedestal.
Yeah. Very fair. One last one for you, Craig. All the talk in Barry Trotz and Nashville, and he wants to make some moves, and he's looking to make some moves, and I respect it. What do you like? What kind of move do you think they're looking to make in Nashville? And do you think it's going to come quickly after the 28th when the trade freeze ends?
Listen, they're not making the playoffs. They're done, finished, over. I mean, you know, they're going to be like the turkey that you put in on Christmas morning and you don't take out until Boxing Day. Don't be surprised when it's cooked and you're not going to be able to eat it. They got to come to the acceptance. And the quicker they do this, they're not making the playoffs. They're out. They're done. They're finished. So anything Barry Trotz does is about improving his team for the future. It's about saying, what can we do to improve our team for the future? And that begins with next year, because this year doesn't matter. So it's not about what he does on December 28th when the roster frees from. If he does something on December 28th that's going to help his team going forward, great. But if he's doing something on December 28th that he thinks is going to make a change that'll help his team when they play a game on December 29th, and it's not going to help in the future, it's no good. I'll give you an example.
Okay.
We traded for Joe Nieuwendyk in 1995.
Okay.
In December of 1995, before the World Junior.
Yeah.
Go back and look at our team that year. Our team was near the bottom of the league. We finished 5th worst in the league that year. Everybody thinks, oh, you traded for Joe Nieuwendyk, you ended up winning the Stanley Cup. We didn't trade for Joe Nieuwendyk at the trade deadline before we won the Stanley Cup. This wasn't a Butch Goring move.
Yeah.
We looked at our team and we said, well, we got Modano, we got Hatcher and Matvichuk and Lettinen, and we got a lot of good young players. We didn't have somebody that could support Modano. And we're looking at Colorado with Forsberg and Sakic, Detroit with Fedorov and Yzerman, and we're going, we have to find a center. We had tried to sign Ray Ferraro that summer, and he chose to sign with the New York Rangers. So now Joe Nieuwendyk's holding out, and we made a significant trade. We made a significant trade for our organization in Dallas, and the Calgary Flames made a significant one. Full marks and kudos to Al Coates for making that trade and getting Jerome McGinley. But we made that move understanding that if we do not get a center, then it's not going to matter. So everything we were doing was trying to move forward for the years to come. And that's, to me, what Barry Trotz has got to do. Anything short of that is going to be a fail.
Quickly, one last one for you. When you look at and now I'm drawing a blank on the team I wanted to ask you about. Oh my God. We were just talking about trades and what they're going to do, but the Pittsburgh Penguins, they're still in the hunt, Craig. And like, I don't think they're going to stop, but like, what do you do if you're Dubas now and the deadline? Because you don't really have a lot of pieces to sell off. So do you just make little tweaks hoping you can get in? What do you do?
Well, he just made a little tweak. He added P.O. Joseph back to his team. They're familiar with him. He was in St. Louis, and he now finds his way back to Pittsburgh. He's pot committed to Crosby, Malkin, Carlson, Letang, to that group. He's pot committed. And unless you're just going to say, okay, we're burning it to the ground, and that means other players are going to go out, that's not where he's at. So he's got to always be looking for where he can improve the team. A little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit here. Because you're right, they're going to be in the hunt. I don't think they're a Stanley Cup contender, but that may not matter right now for them. What matters for them right now is being competitive with the group of players they have and then moving forward. I mean, Crosby, he's still amazing. He is still an amazing player and a driver. And Kyle Dubas, I don't think he has to. He recognizes it, but he's pot committed. So everything he's looking at is about trying to give the team a little more strength in different areas, trying to make it a little bit better in different areas, knowing that he doesn't have a lot of prospects, doesn't have a lot of young players, and that's going to take some time to build up. But given where he's at now in the standings with Crosby and, Brian Rust is playing well and Raquel's playing pretty well, that's where he's got to be. No place else. That's as simple as that.
Craig, have yourself a very Merry Christmas. Enjoy the World Juniors, and we'll chat with you next week about that.
Yeah, we will. Next Friday should be fun. We'll have we'll have a Canadian game under our belts.
Yeah, you betcha. Awesome. Thanks, man.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Merry Christmas to you and yours too. Always a joy to spend time with you, Jason. Have so much respect for you, and never, ever, ever, when you're talking to me, underestimate your intelligence when it comes to hockey. Don't say, "What do you know?" You know a hell of a lot.
Oh, well, thanks, Greg. I appreciate that, buddy. Have yourself a great day. So do you.
Thanks. That's nice.
That's Craig Button from TSN. Quick break. We'll come back. Month of giving, baby. It's been unreal. Now we're close to the finish line. We only need 6 people at $100, 4 at $2, and 1 at $5. And the pyramid's full. And then All-Star Construction will match it. So that'll get us over 15 grand today. Unbelievable. 833-401-1440. So let's get a few of those 100 filled in, 200, or the 1-500. If you want to help us out, 833-401-1440.
A lot of things were going on in 1974. Happy Days premiered on television. The Rubik's Cube was invented. Halley and Foreman fought the rumble in the jungle. And GS Construction started their first job. Yes, for 50 years, GS Construction has been building the infrastructure of Edmonton and surrounding areas. Think of the neighborhoods that weren't even built yet. Think of all the work that had to be done to get them built. Probably about 50 years. But for GS Construction, it's been time well spent. For more, visit gsconstruction.ca.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta, new players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet every week all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Get early access to the Bricks Boxing Week blowout. Shop real Boxing Day prices now with deals for every room of your home. Shop Door Crasher specials like a 3-piece stainless steel appliance package for just $18.97. Take up to $3,000 off big screen TVs, up to $2,000 off sectionals, and up to $750 off sofas. Plus, buy more, save more on dining and bedroom furniture, up to 25% off. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Now, all sizes of premium roast coffee at McDonald's have a new low price starting at $1 plus tax for a small. It's great if you love great tasting coffee. $1 small premium roast coffee every single day. Must be McCafe. Plus tax at participating restaurants in Canada. Excludes delivery.
Ho, ho, ho! 'Tis the season to find the perfect gift at the perfect price at Leduc Goldsmiths.
The annual Christmas sale is on now with up to 30% off store-wide, plus special flyer savings. All natural and lab-created diamond engagement rings are 15% off with a wide selection available. The team at Leduc Goldsmiths have years of expertise to help you find what you need. Leduc Goldsmiths on Main Street, Leduc. Leduc's Jewelry Store. Family owned and operated for over 30 years.
It's the Nissan Winter Ready event. Rogue brings a very winter-friendly standard all-wheel drive at impressive highway fuel efficiency, and you're free to start planning epic drives to the North Pole and everywhere in between. Right now, lease a 2025 Rogue for the equivalent of $89 weekly for 36 months. Plus, qualifying Nissan owners may receive up to $500 in loyalty bonus. S all-wheel drive for $384 monthly with $3,199 down at 2.99%. Conditions apply. See Nissan.ca for details.
Visit your local Edmonton and area Nissan dealer for more information.
Santa sweat, dripping on the tree, due to that new furnace that you got from Legacy.
Legacy Heating and Cooling wants to help you prepare for Santa. A nice warm stop during the cold night is the gift you give him. And Legacy can help with no payments and no interest for 1 year on your festive new furnace, because warm homes get better presents. Happy holidays from Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Everybody now, Santa sweat, Santa sweat. This is really weird. Santa perspiration.
Course of this hour brought to you by Culligan for all your residential water needs. Your local water treatment company, more than just big bottles. Culligan.com.
Look good, feel good, play good. It's the Jason Gregor Show. Thanks for listening to Sports 1440.
Presented by playalberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Positive Friday. How are you? Doug's in at 100 Bones. Awesome. So we only had 10 listeners out there. 5 of you at 100, 4 at 200, 1 at 500. Boom. Let's do it. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440. But while we wait for more donations, because I know we're going to get them, we're going to match the pyramid given. It's going to be an awesome positive Friday. Send everybody at home in a good mood. Let's get to 5 questions brought to you by The Brick, where you can beat the crowds right now. The Boxing Week early say access is on. 25% off bedroom and dining furniture, 25% off home entertainment furniture and fireplaces at The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, guys. Oilers in 2 games over the weekend. I'm sure we're confident to come away with 4 points. I'll ask you this, though. Who's going to have the most points in these 2 games, and what will the Oilers' goal differential be?
I'll put Connor McDavid at the top of the pile, Connor. The other Connor. I'll bet you he'll have 6 points in those 2 games, and the Oilers' goal differential will also be 6.
Well, San Jose, I could see them scoring and winning by 3 or 4. Ottawa is probably going to be a tight game, especially if it's all marking goals. So I will say the goal differential will be 3. They'll win by 2 and by 1, and I think they do come away with 4 points. The Ottawa game is going to be tight, though.
Question 2. We were sitting here yesterday, saw Strutty on Overdrive, and there was a topic. Which of these athletes needs to win the most? And there was McDavid and Joel Embiid, Josh Allen. Which athlete do you think needs to add a championship to their resume the most?
Well, I think probably Joel Embiid, because I think that's the only thing that's going to make him great. Connor McDavid's great. Connor McDavid's amongst the top 5 of all time, regardless of a championship. That's just a fact. When Connor McDavid's career is over, he's top 5. You will have some people who say, but, whatever. It's not going to matter. He's that great. The championship will it's going to help him. And I think for some people who think a championship, which is a team sport, and look at McDavid, what he did last year. Could McDavid have done much more for them to win? I don't think so. I think he played pretty well. And they lost in Game 7. I do think he'll win a championship eventually, but I don't think he needs it as much as the others because he's great for sure.
I'd like to see any current member of the Edmonton Oilers win a championship with the Edmonton Oilers, Connor.
Easy enough.
It's code talk for I'd like the Oilers to win the Cup.
Go a long way. Question number 3. Saw a very rare play in Thursday Night Football's game. Cameron Dicker hitting a fair catch free kick. I'm not going to lie to you because I had no idea this was a thing. What is one rule in sports, and it can be dumb if you want, that you just find the most weird?
Definitely the fact that during PGA Tour events on TV, people can call in if they see a rule infraction. There was a guy kneeling underneath a pine tree a few years ago, and he put a towel down so he wouldn't get his pants dirty, and somebody watching at home in their underwear called it in. I don't like that.
Well, down without contact in college football. Like, what? That one is pretty much right up there.
What is that?
Well, like if you're just running and I slip and fall, I'm automatically the play's dead. No one's touched me. Yeah, it's like it's ridiculous. I've never understood that rule. Like it's not a safety thing. I don't get it at all. And the other one that I'm not a big fan of would be in tennis. How if you run wide and you hit the shot and it's not over the net, but it's beside it and it lands in, it still counts. What? So you have to go over the net at every point unless you're running wild and you shoot it, from a deep and it goes beside the net and lands in, it counts. I find that foolish. I don't get it.
Question number 4. On this day in 1974, The Godfather 2 was released. I'd say many would have it up there as one of the greatest sequels of all time. Just text line's going to blow up here.
Oh my God.
What is your favorite?
Godfather 4, still one of the greatest moments in the Jason Gregor Show.
So outside of The Godfather 4, what is your favorite movie sequel?
I'll tell you the story after. Just answer.
Oh, everybody's going to want to hear too.
Yeah.
I really liked Men in Black, Connor. And Men in Black 2 I thought was awesome. I was super pumped for it when it came out.
Well, the part 2 is unreal, but to me, the Bournes, I thought they're great.
Final question for you guys. Since we're less than a week away from Christmas, And there's lots. There's the morning, the dinner, the lulls in between. What is your favorite part of Christmas Day?
Favorite part. I like the initial excitement and joy of your son waking up and just kind of how that happiness is there all day long. Like everybody's smiling. At least I can only go off my experience, right? So I hope everybody else has this. I'm sure in some cases it isn't, but there just seems to be a lot of happiness in the household that I've been in. And, you're together, especially when they're kids and, it doesn't matter who's opening the gift. They're super excited. What did you get, Mom? What did you get, Grandma? So that's the part I like the most.
I agree with you. Having Wanye Jr. for Christmas makes it 1,000 times more enjoyable than being an adult at Christmas time. You got to have the kids.
Yeah. Well, even because my son's the youngest of all, like my siblings' kids, like, I had kids later. I better take care of myself, so I wasn't having kids when I was younger. And so I remember when my oldest nephew, who's he's 16 years older than my son. So, he's in his 20s. And, when my son was like 4, 5, and 6, and just the excitement he brought, like they got to watch the Santa tracker on Christmas Eve and all that. And I remember him commenting like, man, it kind of brings the fun back in Christmas. And really, so that part of it's cool. Cons, what about you?
I mean, I always kind of like just the end of the night. Like, it can be a lot, right? There's a lot going on, especially if you're visiting a couple families like we do. Getting home and just sitting down and just taking it easy was always a good part. I suspect that will change now. Like you guys said, having a kid now, obviously this year he's just going to be kind of a potato and watching it all. But when they get to start opening presents, I know with my niece and nephews, that's kind of when things change. It was a lot more fun on Christmas morning. So this year, I think probably just taking it easy, the quiet time in between, probably watching NFL is going to be a highlight for me.
Oh, there you go. Let us know, 833-401-1440. All right, so we've had a great first 3 hours for the Pyramid of Giving. And we want to finish strong. So let's fill it out. We need 5 people at 100. We need 4 at 200. And we need 1 at 500. And we'll fill out the Pyramid of Giving. Now, if anybody wants to add on to an extra 1,000, we'll always take that. Extra is always good. But we like to fill in the blocks because then All-Star Construction will match the 7,500. So 833-401-1440. It's Positive Friday. You're probably just getting off work. Maybe you're getting in your vehicle. Turn your lights on. Turn your lights on, please. Not to auto. Just make sure you got your taillights on. Safer for everybody. And let's fill up the Pyramid of Giving for Adopt a Teen. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440. Let's get to the con man. And you can call him at that same number. You can text or call the same number, 833-401-1440. Con Man Sports 1440 update brought to you by Booster Juice. They are serving tidings of caramel joy. Try the salted caramel smoothie and the booster ball to put a jingle in your step. Available for a limited time. Visit Booster Juice.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
Busy night in the NHL. You got the Ducks and the Avalanche. Utah in Minnesota. Stars host the Rangers. Caps in Canes. Panthers host the Blues. Canadians take on the Red Wings. And in a few minutes here, the Sabres hosting the Toronto Maple Leafs in the association. 3 games, Sixers and Hornets. Bucks in Cleveland, and the Thunder taking on the Miami Heat. Around the city, Crusaders and Saints meeting in Sherwood Park tonight. They'll meet tomorrow in Spruce Grove. Both those games starting at 7 o'clock. And the AJ Devon hosting Fort Mac. GP in Calgary. Canmore takes on Drumheller, and Camrose up against Drayton Valley. College bowl season rolling on. Right now, Florida leads Tulane 33-0 in the Union Home Bowl. Earlier today was Ohio over Jacksonville State 30-27. And tonight, college football playoff round 1 action. Number 7 Notre Dame hosting number 10 Indiana. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet and Alan Mitchell, host of the Lowdown with Lowetide. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
3, 2, 1.
Happy New Year. Let's rock.
Edmonton's biggest New Year's Eve party is at On the Rise.
Featuring Edmonton's #1 party band, the Barkhells. The Barkhells.
Get ready to dance the night away as we ring in 2025 in style at OTR.
Tickets include a 3-course meal, party favors, and bubbly at midnight.
This party sells out every year.
Oh, and if you don't have anyone to kiss at midnight, Marco is always available.
OTR's New Year's Eve party.
Tickets at ontherockyeg.com.
Actions speak louder than words. Japa Machinery Group puts your construction plan into action with XCMG construction machinery you need. Available for rental or sale. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit fountaintire.com today.
Get early access to the Bricks Boxing Week blowout. Shop real Boxing Day prices now with deals for every room of your home. Shop door crasher specials like a 3-piece stainless steel appliance package for just $18.97. Take up to $3,000 off big screen TVs, up to $2,000 off sectionals, and up to $750 off sofas. Plus, buy more, save more on dining and bedroom furniture. Up to 25% off. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk. Elevate your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Noodle, noodle, nood, noodle, nood, noodle, nood, noodle, noodle, nood. Noodle, noodle, nood, 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 noodle, noodle, nood, noodle, nood, noodle, noodle, nood, noodle, nood, noodle, nood, noodle, noodle, nood. Noodle, noodle, nood, 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 noodle, noodle, nood.
Throw a load down to Oodle Noodle tonight because dine-in is open.
The Canada-wide clearance is on at GMC. Get a $7,500 cash credit on 2024 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab elevation models. With Sierra's 13.4-inch diagonal premium GMC infotainment system with Google built-in compatibility, available off-road package with hill descent control, plus an available 3-liter Duramax diesel engine, you can take the road less traveled and try new things, like fishing or whitewater rafting. I should have gone fishing. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
I'm Rick Showers from No Bull RV, along with 2 very special granddaughters wishing you a Merry Christmas.
I'm Saxon. I'm Goldie.
There's something beautiful about the holidays, the warm feeling of being with family. It's why we love camping so much.
Camping with Papa is why I love to visit Canada. Best part of camping is Goldie Cake.
That's right, Goldie. The great outdoors is a lot of fun, just like your famous Goldie cakes. And while we don't get to go camping much this time of year, it's fun to enjoy our time together, even if we're stuck inside most of the time. We have to cherish these moments because before you know it, you'll be teenagers.
Well, I'm going to be a teenager soon. You just wait.
Not if I can help it.
My Papa is really old. Maybe like 35.
Happy Christmas from Saxon, Goldie, and all of us in the No Bull family. And to all a good night.
And that's No Bull.
NobleRV.ca. Bringing every project to life requires the right team. By joining the Japa Machinery Group service or sales teams, you can be part of setting a new industry standard. Celebrating a legacy of excellence with Japa. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows. Locally manufactured and installed, Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Positive Friday rolling through. How are you? I think you probably made it through a work week. You're on your way home. Have your lights on, please, ladies and gentlemen. As we're into crunch time here on a Positive Friday on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, live on Oilers Nation YouTube, Facebook, and X. Hello to everybody watching, everybody listening, streaming, wherever you're at. Hope you enjoyed the week. Oilers fans should be in a good mood. How can you not be? The team's winning a lot lately. Comeback victory last night. The Bruins were 10-0-2 entering that game when leading after 40 minutes of play, but the Oilers managed to tie it up with 2 minutes to go and then win it in overtime. Leon Draisaitl in the process, 3 assists. He now has 900 career points. Fifth fastest European player to do it. I think he's something like 18th or 19th fastest all time, and I have to double check on that. But like Leon Draisaitl could retire tomorrow. He's got a Hall of Fame career. Hart Trophy, Art Ross Trophy. He has the 3-time 50-goal scorer. Like he's had an unreal career already, and it's far from over. Obviously, he has minimum 8 more years after this. He's probably got another decade to play for him. He's a dominant player. He's been great this year. Him and Kaprizov, I think, are right now the 2 front runners for the Hart Trophy. Right, he's right up there. He's just behind McKinnon in the Art Ross, and I know reputation, everything. But he should get some consideration. He should get some top 5 votes for sure in the Selke because he's been outstanding. Hey, Greg, do you think he's trending towards a top 20 player of all time? I think very possible. Yes. Like you just look at his numbers, man. Like what's so unique about Draisaitl is how many guys are that good at passers and that good at shooters. Right? Matthew's a great shooter. Ovi's a great shooter. They're not great passers. Right? McDavid's an unreal passer. He had the 160 goal season, yes, but he's not a 3-time 50-goal scorer. Right? Like that's what's unique about Draisaitl. He is elite at both. It is very, very rare. There's not a lot of guys in the NHL who do that. So we'll get to the spec report in a second, but it is the Pyramid of Giving. It's our final Pyramid of Giving today. We've had a great month of giving. Let's finish strong here. So we only need 10 of our listeners to step up in the final hour of the show. You got 5 people at $100, 4 people at 200, and 1 at 5, and it settles it in. I love it. Now, we said earlier, if you ever want to mention, well, John came in from Royal Camps, and he's doing a bonus $1,000. I love it. It's an extra $1,000 from John from Royal Camps. So thank you very much, John. We really appreciate that at Royal Camps. Stay safe up there. So 10 of you, 5 at 100, 4 at 200, 1 at 500. Let's do it here in the final hour, and then All-Star Construction will match the pyramid of 7,500, and it'll be a great Positive Friday. So 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. We need your text or your phone calls. Let's get it done. We need to do it. It's for adopted teen. There's lots of teens in need of your help right now. If you can spare 100, 200. Vic comes in at 100. Boom. Now we're down to only 9 listeners, and I know we got more than 9. I think we only have 10. But now we only need 9, so it's good. Let's get to the spec report brought to you by GS Construction, and they just wish everybody out there a safe and happy Merry Christmas to all. Hope you enjoy it. Stay safe on the roads. Drive slow through construction. That's GS Construction, as Mark Spector joins us. And Spec, big win for the Oilers, but and we saw it during the game. They switched the lines. They switched the D pairs because nothing was really working. And it didn't like automatically work, but it did work. They got 3 goals. They came from behind. And today at practice, Bouchard with Nurse, Ekholm with Emberson, Kulak with Stetcher. How long do you think we're going to see this?
Well, it's a good question. I mean, they played Nurse and Bouchard together prior to Ekholm's arrival, and it was sort of always, we came away thinking, nah, that doesn't work, right? Those guys they struggled together. They were never great. And was it because Bouchard was young and coming up and unpredictable, and Nurse wasn't playing then as well as he's playing now? Now maybe you're pairing Bouchard with you are pairing him with the best Darnell Nurse we've seen in a long time. And Bouchard's a more mature player. Maybe those two can be a pair now. Maybe it's worth giving them another shot together, see how their chemistry goes. No?
Well, right now you're doing it in the hopes to get Bouchard going because Nurse is your best. Like in their last 21 games since November 1st, Spec, 21 games. Bouchard's been on for 20 goals. Ekholm's been on for 18. That's the most. Nurse has been on for 4. And he split half his time with Kulak, half his time with Stetcher. And those guys' numbers when they're with Nurse are off the charts. When they're away from them, not as good. Right now, Nurse is their best defenseman, playing their best defenseman, and it has been for the last 7 weeks. It's not a debate. All the Nurse haters, they don't say anything because there's nothing to say. And so you put Bouchard there, hoping that, you know what, by Nurse can rub off on him a little bit and just maybe calm his game down, or maybe cover up for some of his errors right now. Because like Bouchard will get back to playing better, but right now you can tell his confidence is a little bit off.
Yeah, he's not had the greatest start. Like, as the team all started shaky, and you know, it's kind of funny. Like, I think of the very first, was it the first shift of the season when Winnipeg was playing the opener at Edmonton?
Yep.
And Bouchard had a giveaway. Was it to Scheifele?
Yes.
At his own blue line, and Scheifele went down and scored, and it was, that game was 6-0, I think. But the point I'm making is his season started crappy, and it hasn't got a whole lot better. A lot of the guys around him have found their games, you know, all the Oilers, most of them. But Bouchard, I mean, I say it out of respect because we all saw how good a player he can be. We all watched him in the playoff run and then in the playoffs last year. You know, I remember writing the piece said he has arrived. He's a number one defenseman in the National Hockey League. That's how good he is. And we're not seeing that level, and we all know it's there. So, you know, like, I think this is Paul Coffey coaching. And get out of his way, because Coffey's been making the right call ever since he took the gig around here. So if Coff thinks this is the way to do it, I got absolutely no problem with it. If you take a guy like Ekholm and put him with a youngster like Emberson, I think that's really cool for Emberson. Look what it did for Bouchard when he was younger. And Darnell Nurse right now, he is an absolute rock. And who knows? Maybe having a run with number 2, maybe there's some chemistry there. Who knows, huh?
Yeah, I don't think it's not a problem to try it, because Ekholm and Bouchard have been an extended little bit of a below their standard. They're not playing awful. I want to clarify that. They're not playing awful, but they're not playing up to their standards that they've done for a year and a half, right? So you don't want that to just continue to drag on. So why not switch it up? Now, I'm not stunned that the first game you do it is against the San Jose Sharks, right? You're not going to maybe switch that up full time against Vegas. But, you know, it's no offense to San Jose, but probably a little bit easier of a game. No guarantee you still got to play well, but you know what I'm saying? It's a little easier to do it then than to do it some of the teams they just played.
Well, for sure. I mean, and look at some of the teams they just played. I think what's impressed me of the last, like, we all talked about this stretch, right?
Yep.
Big 5-game stretch. There was 3 division leaders in there. One of them at the time was Minnesota, was the number 1 team in the National Hockey League. And the 2 that weren't division leaders were Tampa and Boston, that are both awesome, good teams, always good organizations, tough to beat every year. And I think the coolest thing for me, Jay, is I thought, you know, the Oilers won they won 4 out of 5, and they did it in all different ways. Like they beat Tampa 2-1, and you'll remember they were really strong defensively. Tampa didn't get much. It was a really low-scoring, hard-fought, good defensive game. Edmonton wins. Then they go they catch a Minnesota team that's got some injuries. They whomp them 7-1. Right? Then they come back and they get Vegas, a huge divisional game, and they put up 6. They get a 5-0 lead.
Yep.
And, you know, from there it's garbage time. They win 6-3. And then they get Florida. That one got away on them a little bit. And then last night they're down 2-0. They're not playing great. And Ekholm said after the game to us, you were there, he said, hey, after the first period, we had a conversation here. We said, look, we're not scoring 6 tonight. You don't get 6 every night. Let's try to grind this thing out. We got 40 minutes. Let's use them all and see what we can do here. And damned if McDavid doesn't score with 2.5 minutes left and you're in overtime. So, you know, 4 out of 5 wins against those teams, that's really good. And I would say to you, Jay, kind of 4 different ways to win, that's kind of exactly what you want your team to be able to win under different circumstances, right?
Yeah, 100%. Mark Spector joins us. Kapanen, just a day's rest, or is he a chance that he won't play tomorrow?
I don't know. I'm not aware of what the situation was with him. Glenn Gulletson spoke after the practice, not Chris Knobloch, and there was no news on that, so I won't tell you that I know, Jay.
Okay. The fact that Derek Ryan was up there and not Brown or someone else suggests to me that they don't think it's that serious, right? Because you're not going to play.
Placeholder.
Yeah, you're not going to play Derek Ryan in your top 6.
No, you're not. No. It kind of seemed like he was a placeholder. That's what I thought too. So, they've been playing lots of hockey, man, and they got back-to-backs coming up. So if you got a guy that's dinged somehow, and speaking of dings, Travis Toomey, the linesman last night that left, busted hand.
It is broken, I thought.
How
Yeah.
about that? I think it was Draisaitl that wired a puck off.
It was he was just looking for a dump in and hit him. Like Draisaitl was like, he was probably 15 feet away and he just ripped it. Yeah.
Yeah, how would that hurt? Like, guys break their hands when they block a shot with a hockey glove on. How about when you're a linesman and you don't have a glove on? You think that'd hurt a little bit?
Yeah, it's there's been a few. Ask old bag of chips Hyman how that feels. Like, you look at it. So I was talking to Ekholm last night. He's got a big bridge and he was laughing. He's like, geez, I thought I was in a lot of pain. Then I look at Hyman. I'm like, okay, I can't say much. And then Nugent Hopkins has I don't know how many stitches he has just under his nose. And then I don't know if you saw Brady Tkachuk after his game. He lost a tooth, a stick in the face. Now Toomey, it's just kind of been a tough run here for players and officials.
Well, I wrote that today. Actually, it's always kind of fascinates me, the culture in hockey. Like, and this isn't me saying, oh, basketball players and baseball players are wimps. They just have a different culture. In hockey, guys, like, it's an opportunity to lift your team up to play hurt. Guys got it out because it raised. Brad Marchand was telling us, said, when guys play hurt like Hyman, he says the whole team is lifted by that. The whole team is motivated by watching one of the guys go out. He says, I remember Mark Recchi playing through kidney stones, which is unbelievable. And he says, I remember Patrice Bergeron playing through jaw surgery. He played with a punctured lung. And he said, man, our team, we just rose up around that player.
Yeah.
So I got a piece on Sports that I liked writing it, says, because I think it might be a decent piece. Just give it a read.
Well, it's debatable. No, I'm kidding. We shall see, Spec. But yeah, you know what? It's interesting. Got San Jose tomorrow. Get to see Macklin Celebrini up close. Man, I saw his spin move last night. It didn't result in a goal, but that was a hell of a play. They're much more competitive than they've been in the past. So this is definitely not an easy game. Like, the Oilers have waxed the Sharks here pretty handily the last few years. I don't know if it's going to be a 6-2 game. It always could be potentially, but the Oilers haven't taken them lightly the last few years, except for once, those bastards. And it cost me a hairstyle. So hopefully that doesn't happen again. But, then they got Ottawa coming in, and you do wonder, Spec, like they had 5 pretty, we got to be ready to play games. And they did have a great start last night. That the first and third period, Boston, I give them a lot of credit. I thought their stick checking and placement was amazing.
Really good. But really good. I thought they eliminated Connor McDavid for most of that game, and then McDavid made a great play to score. But no, Boston was rock solid last night.
Yeah, they were very good. So, Spec, have yourself an awesome weekend. What do you think happened to the Oilers? Are they splitting? Are they getting 3 points? Are they getting 4? What happens? What does your crystal ball tell you?
My crystal ball says that, after that, like, I thought their game deteriorated a little bit against Vegas. They won. They weren't great against Florida. They lost. They were better, after they got going last night. Their game has to go north a little. 2 teams like this coming in back to back. I'll give the Oilers 3 points. If they get 3 out of 4, I think they should be happy. These 2 teams have been stealing points around the league. To beat them both back to back in this situation with Christmas around the corner, I'm a little skeptical. My vote for 3.
All right, Spec, have a good one, and we'll chat with you on Monday.
All right, thanks, Jake.
The Spec Report brought to you by GS Construction. And so, hey, I love it. Asking you shall receive. So Vic came in at $100. We had Dale step up. He grabbed that $500 slot. Elvis is in at a $200 slot. And Derek comes in at 100 bones. Also for Derek, we would like to shout out his dad, Terry, right now, who is going through a little bit of a battle with radiation and cancer. So shout out to Terry. Hopefully, you're doing well, enjoying the games, and thanks for listening. And you got a good son who's helping out with the Pyramid of Giving. So there you go. So we are down now. 6 listeners. 3 of you at 200, 3 of you at 100. Done. We need to fill it out, baby. And then All-Star Construction is going to match it. Okay, so 3 people at 100, 3 at 200. That's it. 6 listeners, very easy. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440 for the Pyramid of Giving to help out the adopted teen. And just think about your teenagers. Think about yourself as a teen. It can be awkward at times. So here's a chance for them to feel a little bit more included and to be able to feel like they can contribute even more in their family, which is great. So there you go. 833-401-1440. We will return. Coming up, Lowetide will be by. We'll talk some more hockey. We'll talk a little NFL. And hopefully we'll have the pyramid filled up. 833-401-1440 in our email inbox. It's a Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Checking off your gift list can go more smoothly when you give smoothies. From now till December 31st, buy a $30 Booster Juice gift card and gift yourself with any regular size smoothie for free. Try the new salted caramel smoothie made with vanilla oat beverage, vanilla frozen yogurt, and decadent caramel. It pairs magically with the salted caramel booster ball, bursting with score toffee bites, cinnamon, maple syrup, cashew butter, and more. Happiest of holidays from Booster Juice. Download the Booster Rewards app today.
You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
The Canada-wide clearance is on at GMC. Get a $7,500 cash credit on 2024 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab elevation models. With Sierra's 13.4-inch diagonal premium GMC infotainment system with Google built-in compatibility, available off-road package with hill descent control, plus an available 3-liter Duramax diesel engine, you can take the road less traveled and try new things, like fishing or whitewater rafting. I should have gone fishing. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
Delicious news. The McDonald's meals you love are now $9.99 every day. It's like make sure you like filet fish, medium fries, and medium fountain drink for $9.99 each plus tax. At the City McDonald's restaurants in Edmonton, Alberta, and the surrounding area. Prices include delivery.
For years now, we've been warning Edmontonians on hazards of our stormwater facilities. While they may appear to look like steel ponds, there is moving water beneath the surface, which makes the ice dangerous. The unpredictability of stormwater facilities makes them treacherously unsafe for all winter activities, even walking. So think twice. Don't go on the ice. A safety message from Edmonton.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta, new players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet every week all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Day or night, tasting just so right. You can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca, delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle noodle.
Does your bank do local? We do. In 2024, Vision Credit Union returned over $34 million in profit shares to our members. How did we do it? Each year, we return about 75% of our profits to Vision members as profit shares, which means that money is invested. Community members.
Value and that tradition continues. Final year every vehicle, including F-150, Bronco, and Super Duty. That's the value you've come to expect from where cars always cost less. Denham Ford on Highway 2A in Wetaskiwin or at denhamford.ca.
Cars cost less than Wetaskiwin.
Get early access to the Bricks Boxing Week blowout.
Shop real Boxing Day prices now with deals for every room of your home. Shop Door Crasher specials like a 3-piece stainless steel appliance package for just $18.97. Take up to $3,000 off big screen TVs, up to $2,000 off sectionals, and up to $750 off sofas. Plus, buy more, save more on dining and bedroom furniture. Up to 25% off. Some exclusions apply. See in store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Portions of this hour brought to you by your Alberta GMC dealers. The Canada-wide clearance is on now at GMC. Get a $7,500 cash credit on a 2024 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab Elevation. See more at gmcoffers.ca.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
529. Oh, baby. So the Declan Cougar came in at 100 bones. We also had Phil take one of the $100, and he's taken one of the $200. And then Pat took another 200. So that's all we have left. Well, we can always take more, but all we have left is one 100 and one $200, and we will fill it in. So two of you can be the final piece of the puzzle. Okay. Just think about those championship teams, right? You could be the Michael Handzus of the 2013 Chicago Blackhawks, who not many people thought it was a big acquisition at the deadline, but it turned out to be a massive one that only cost him a 4th-round selection. And then I think he finished with like 5th most points on their team. So it's awesome. So thanks, Phil, who's from a balcony in Banff. I love it. So he's listening online. Attaboy, Phil. Appreciate that. And Pat and Elvis and Declan. So we appreciate it. So we need one person at 100 and one person at 200. And we're good. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440. And that would finish off a very positive Friday. Okay. I like it. Now, let's get to the oil report. Brought to you by Volvo Cars Edmonton. They are Canada's #1 Volvo dealership, and you can get some great deals right now. Volvo XC90s, the 2025 models are in, or the XC90 plug-in hybrids. Stop in, get a great deal right now at Volvo Cars Edmonton. As we welcome to the show the host of the Lowdown from noon to 2, Alan Mitchell joins us. And Al, new defense pairings for the Edmonton Oilers: Nurse Bouchard, Ekholm Emberson, Kulak Stetcher. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think, if we're honest, I think Darnell Nurse has been the best defenseman on the Oilers this year. And the Ekholm Bouchard pairing has been brilliant since really they started together. But this year, the blooms off the rose just a little. And maybe it's only 2 weeks, or maybe it's only 2 games, or maybe it's only at one period. But I like the fact that they're showing confidence in Nurse. And I think Bouchard could use a little bit of a different look. And oftentimes what happens is they end up going back after a time to the previous pairings. But I like it because it shows a lot of confidence in Nurse. And then it also gives a real opportunity for young Emberson, I think, to really get an education. And you don't know how many more years you're going to have Ekholm. I like it. I think it one thing I like about Chris Knobloch, and he's done this really since he got here, is he's not afraid to do things that look unusual, like when he put Calvin Pickard in against Vancouver a year ago. And those things, the unusual second pairing that he had with Nurse Kulak, Nurse Stetcher, those things are really innovative, and I do think it keeps everything fresh. I'm looking forward to it. I don't know how long it's going to last, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, Nurse has been excellent. He's been really dominant since November, but he felt his game was ramping up even in October. It just came to, a little bit of timing issues early on, he felt, just from not playing in the preseason and not having a real training camp. So, we'll see those changes there. I'll say this about Knobloch. Last night, he felt his team had nothing, which is true. The first 20 minutes outside of Stuart Skinner, they had nothing going on. I know there's some people, I didn't understand how they blame Skinner for that goal, the first goal. Yeah. I'm like, how do you blame I don't understand it. But anyway, the Pasternak breakaway save was massive when you think about the outcome of that game and a few of his other stops. But then in the second period, I thought Edmonton came on. But then I get Boston credit again in the third. Like, Edmonton really didn't generate much until the Connor McDavid goal.
Yeah. I think there was a penalty kill somewhere in the second. And for me, that's when things got a little bit better for Edmonton. It's like they sort of reset themselves. And then they played well, but they couldn't get the equalizer. And then this is why having Connor McDavid, here's a bulletin, is a good idea, because he willed that goal into the net. And lots of players can go to the net and try to get to the net and try to score. But McDavid is a special player. And he made it happen, and that's what you needed. And Draisaitl made it happen along with Nuge and Ekholm in the overtime. Draisaitl must have been bagged on that shift. For me, it's the thing about this team is they have to hang around until the special players can get it going. And you mentioned Skinner. I thought he kept them in this game, and they finally found a way to win it. And Boston, I'll say this, I watched Boston a lot. They had it last night. They had real, juice. They played as well as I've seen them play. And the kid that they just got from New York, he played well. If I'm the Bruins, I'm frustrated because they played, I think, as well as they can, no, except Swayman, and they didn't win, and that's got to hurt.
Well, you know what? Swayman was solid, but the Hyman goal is one he would like back. But I want to say this because I feel at times when people think their team is the only one, and that's who they watch, and I totally get it. But good goalies are going to allow a goal every now and then that you're like, oh, I wish you had it back. And think about it. That Hyman goal, it's a 2-0 game, and Edmonton is coming, but Swayman had made 3 other better saves earlier, and then gets beat on that one, and it gave Edmonton some life. And ultimately, ends up being a difference maker in the game. And we see those from other goalies all the time. I think it's a reminder that Stuart Skinner isn't the only goal in the league who every now and then will have a goal that he doesn't like.
Yeah, and he outplayed Swayman last night. And in saying that, I'm sure that people will react to that. Stuart Skinner was the better goalie on the ice last night. Swayman's a great goaltender, trust me. But on the particular night we're talking about, Skinner was the better goaltender. Now, he didn't have the better team for most of the night, but he was the better goaltender.
Yeah. No, that's totally fair. They got the Sharks now. I don't know how much you've been watching of Macklin Celebrini.
Well, it's funny because kids come in and sometimes they get it and sometimes they don't. And he's brilliant. He makes plays. No look. I mean, his hockey IQ is off the charts. And I don't know how to rate him among the young players. Is he going to be better than Bedard? I don't know, but I will say he's an electric player.
What do you make of Will Smith on the Sharks, LT, other than his comical name?
Well, I haven't watched very much. What do you think of him?
I think the two of them together seem to be young but good. Like, I think the Sharks, they're better this year than they were last year. I think in the long run, those will be good NHL players.
What I've noticed is, and I haven't watched them much, but I think the Oilers, there might be 2 really smart ex-Oilers who are GMs. One of them is Guerin and one of them is Greer, because they've made some really good moves and they seem to have guys coming along at the right time. And the deals that they do make, when they send somebody away, the players that they're acquiring they might not make it, but they've got, I'm thinking about the goaltender they acquired. They've got high-end potential. And I love that about what Greer's done so far. He doesn't seem to be trying for, 6s and 7s. He's going for kings and aces.
Al Mitchell joined us. Well, that Jake Wallman trade has worked out exceptionally well. And I look at that trade and Cody Ceci. Now, we all know he's not a top pair defenseman, but he's playing top pair minutes in San Jose, so they don't have to have a young guy play there and get his teeth kicked in. Cody Ceci can handle it. And you know what? They're going to get scored on because their team's not overly great. They got goaltenders, but he's not going to, he's not going to be stunted in his development, right? To me, that's a smart move by an organization because too often they have young guys, and we saw it in Edmonton. And you have everybody young. Justin Schultz, guess what, rookie? You can play first pair minutes, and then everyone gets mad at you because you're not a first pair defenseman yet, right? And it happens all the time. And so I look at San Jose, and even though they're not, higher in the standings, I look at some of the small moves they've made and I say their chance of long-term success is better because they're young guys. Yeah, it sucks to lose, but they're not getting thumped, right? Like Jake Wallman, Cody Ceci, they're taking more of the lumps, although Jake Wallman's had a great year offensively as well.
Yeah, no, for sure. And in Edmonton, they had Schultz, I think, played with Oscar Kleppbaum. So they basically had two raw rookies playing together. I mean, it was like, I get the idea that those guys were projectable to do great things, but you've got to walk before you can run. And that's so true. Like CC, 5 years from now, they'll probably give him all kinds of credit for where that team is, but he's taken the hits now. But you need that. You need to have guys who are actual NHL players, and CC is one, and he can take all the beatings and probably be -2 some nights, even though he played really well.
Al, what do you make of the New York Rangers right now? And how much blame does Chris Drury have to take for this?
I think a lot, unless he's being instructed to do this from higher up. The Rangers in my lifetime, John Ferguson Sr. Went in there after Emile Francis, and he made a mess of things. And Fred Shero had to take over, and within 18 months or even 12, he had it turned around. And then Phil Esposito had a tough time as GM in New York. Other than that, they've been well managed. But Gorton built that team. They were young, they were fast, they were physical, they were a load. And slowly but surely, they've been eroding. And the moves they're making, they're not just curious, they're mind-boggling. And the Capo Caco trade, the odds of that thing working out for Seattle are very high. Even if the guy never ends up scoring 30 or anything, grand like that, he's such a kid and he's a big guy. My God, that you just never give those guys up, especially when you get like a third-round pick and a veteran defenseman who's good, but he's not going to move the needle. The Rangers are the most frustrating team right now because, fans have been watching that team get better and better and better. They've got an all-world goaltender, and they're just throwing it away. And I think that is on the GM, and he should be fired today.
Yeah, he's made some perplexing moves there for sure. Al, I know I'll chat with you on Monday, so have yourselves an enjoyable weekend. Declan Kruger, I've never seen him this stressed. He's like you, just pacing in the waiting for your children to be born. He's just waiting for Indiana to play a football game. It's quite interesting to see. I've never seen. He's like sweating profusely.
Well, he's a closet Notre Dame fan now. I don't know why, but he was mad at them early in the year, and now I think he's secretly cheering for them.
Secretly cheering for Notre Dame. All right, interesting. Very interesting. All right, Al. So he's torn. That's what you're saying. He's torn now.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, he is absolutely, and he's a little obsessed with college football. I don't know if you've noticed.
He likes it. Yeah, he likes it a lot. So, which is great. Al, have a great weekend. Yeah, you betcha. That's Al Mitchell, aka Lowetide. And as always, you know what? Ask and you shall receive. And our audience comes through the pyramid of giving. You look at it today. So Lenny came in at 300, Shane at 100. So Lenny took the last. Shane, they came in. It's awesome. So now we're over. And also, how about Dan? An extra $1,000. So we got Dan and John from Royal Camp. And then Dan, I gotta look. I think I know. I'm recognizing that number, so I gotta look up who it is. But I think I know who it is. And anyway, Dan, big hockey fan. We'll just say Dan, the hockey fan. Okay. So that's 2,000 extra on top. So quick math, that tells us we're at 17,000 because we had 7,500. We got a match from All Star Construction. Then we got an extra 2,000 and 100. So we're at 17,100. Oh, and by the way, Karen had. I was told that she put in an extra 50 when she contacted them. So there's always people who do that. Like, I'm in for 200. And then when they talk to the people at the Adopt a Teen or Christmas Bureau, they're like, I'll add a little bit more. So it's fantastic. So we ended up being at 17,150 today, which is unreal. So thank you very much. It's a positive Friday. You know what? You know what will make everybody else's day? Turn on your lights, not your auto, but your actual taillights. We'll come back. We got Wanye's World and more on the Jason Gregor Show. Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X is always presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
On the Rocks, everyone's on the nice list this December. Even you, Sierra. We saw you shaking your ass on the dance floor.
Until December 31st, purchase $100 worth of gift cards at OTR and get a bonus $20 DC for free.
That's like 10 free hot dogs on Mondays.
Or 10 free tacos on Taco Tuesday.
How about 30 free wings on Wednesdays?
Or even 4 free drinks during happy hour.
However you divide it up, it's $20 free at On the Rocks. Calm down, Sierra.
On the Rocks, Jasper Ave and 118.
For half a century, that's 50 years, GS Construction has been building the foundation of Edmonton and the surrounding area's infrastructure. But let's make one thing clear. This milestone would never be achieved without the dedication of our incredible team. Together, we've built the underground infrastructure that keeps things running smoothly, from the existing to the new underground systems. It's 50 years of hard work the team has put in to make it all possible. Here's to another 50 years. For more on our team and our work, visit gsconstruction.ca.
At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit fountaintire.com today.
Now, all sizes of premium roast coffee at McDonald's have a new low price starting at $1 plus tax for a small. It's great if you love great tasting coffee. $1 small premium roast coffee every single day. Must be McCafe. Plus tax at participating restaurants in Canada. Excludes delivery.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta, new players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet every week all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Santa sweat, dripping on the tree, due to that new furnace that you got from Legacy.
Legacy Heating and Cooling wants to help you prepare for Santa. A nice warm stop during the cold night is the gift you give him. And Legacy can help with no payments and no interest for 1 year on your festive new furnace, because warm homes get better presents. Happy holidays from Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Everybody now, Santa sweat, this is really weird. Santa perspiration.
Is it Riverside Motorsports? No. It's Riverside Motorsports. Over 55 years in business, and people still get it wrong.
Guess it's time to get it right. Riverside Motorsports. What you do for fun is our business.
Course to this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. The team in Old Strathcona has special training dedicated to reducing the impact of cancer care before, during, and after your diagnosis. From lymphedema to the management of fatigue and side effects of chemotherapy and radiation, they can help. Learn more at leadingedgephysio.com.
He's Alberta's sports authority and lead touchdown winner of his family's backyard flag football games. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Friday wrapping up. Welcome back to the show. Hope you're having a lovely day. Jason Gregor, Wanye Gretz, Connor Halley with you. Thanks everyone who participated today in the Pyramid of Giving to help out Adopt a Teen. It was a great day. Now, if you don't hear from them tonight, don't worry. You might not be until Monday, but they've got all your information for Doug, the late cover, the people just in the last bit, Doug, Vic, Elvis, Dale, Derek, Declan, Phil, Pat, Lenny, and Shane, Dan and them. So if you don't hear from them tonight, don't worry. They'll probably call you first thing on the weekend, but they might get to you tonight. I just don't want to guarantee that. Just away you go. They might, but don't worry. All of the information has been sent because we have a Google share sheet. It's much more advanced now, much more advanced. The wonders of technology today. Let's get to the 2-minute warning from Mr. Cam Tate, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, where the rates never change, no overtime charges, legacyheating.ca. Cam Tate, of course, a longtime journalist in town, has cerebral palsy, is in a wheelchair, but due to his disability, he was never able to be on radio until now. Through the wonders of technology, Cam's words come to life.
Kevin Martin looked at me with a puzzled look on his face as he walked towards me on a long par 5 hole at the Windermere Golf and Country Club. We got a problem. he said, lowering the plastic cup full of rye and Coke. Straw, of course. Good thing I made this one a triple. I can't find your ball. Kevin and I met. 1992, Royal Glenora Club, lunch. We became good friends. I used to play a hole for my wheelchair after a charity golf tournament. People bought a bet for how many strokes it took me to play the hole. Kevin and I had a tradition. If we were at the same tournament, he was my caddy. We added bartender to the job description. Now, on a good shot, I mean really good, I could hit the ball 25 to 30 feet. It's safe to say, birdies and eagles, not in my game. At the Windermere that day, I did hit a good one. Third shot, 3 wood, of course. I was so excited, I was more concerned about the rye and Coke. Kevin, too. After the celebration, I looked for my golf ball. Nowhere. I wasn't in the bush. So Kevin and I did the only thing we could do, have another drink. Kevin went for a walk. I heard him howl with laughter. My ball was at the bottom of a 2-foot gully. A gully we didn't see from the tee box. The gully wasn't that wide. You're going to have fun getting out of this one, Kevin said. Don't worry, I'll help you. And he did. I knew Kevin was strong, but he steadied my wheelchair in the gully while I whacked my way out of the damn thing. I share that story today with the wonderful news this week, the absolutely wonderful news that Kevin has been appointed to the Order of Canada. He has had a prolific curling career, Olympic gold medalist, 8 Briers, 15 Grand Slam titles on the World Curling Tour, 3 Players' Championships, and many more. 5 years ago, a TSN poll named him the top male curler of all time. He has been instrumental for growing curling from a recreational sport to a multimillion-dollar business. Congratulations, my friend. I'll buy you a drink and toast your accomplishments. I'll even make it a triple. And congrats to you, Gregor, for the Pyramid of Giving for Adopt a Teen. 2-minute warning with me, Tater. Monday, Friday, Gregor Show, Sports 1440.
It's a great story. And Kevin is, very accomplished curler, and that's a huge honor for him and his family. Well done, Tater. And I love, what's great about Cam is anybody who meets him, it's hard not to be inspired by Cam. You think about it, he's in a wheelchair. He's like, I don't care. I'm playing golf. And he does. He always has tried. There's really no fear. And I remember asking him once, and he talked about, well, his parents kind of instilled that because when Cam was born, Cam is 66 now, I think. And so in that era at that time, there was doctors trying to tell his parents, you know what? Oh, we can just go put him in a home. And his parents like, nope. And you know what? They're like, no, that's not how it is. And they're going to work. And they worked with him. And, Cam's become ultra successful. And has used his disability never as an excuse. It's inspiring stuff. I love it. Which always reminds me of my favorite John Stort's short story. So John gets up and there's this huge event and they're honoring Cam. And so John gets up and he talks all these glowing words, kind of like I just did about Cam Tate and, how great he is and how inspiring he is to everybody else. And then Tate gets up to the microphone, right? And everybody's like, oh, waiting for him to say. And Cam's really funny. And he just says, bleep you, John. Everybody died. It was so funny. Oh, God. Some of the Marys like John. Oh, hilarious! Like I don't know if you've ever seen Cam do as I like to say sit down comedy routine.
No.
Yeah, nodding your head when we're on radio isn't the best way to answer that question.
No, I'm just,
you're like,
yeah,
no,
yeah.
I'm like, yeah, use your voice. Yeah, no, it's he's a pretty funny dude. So there you go. Let's get to Wanye's World. What's up?
Well, I'll tell you what's interesting. When Zach Hyman said that it sounded like a bag of potato chips when they put his nose back in place.
Yeah. Oh.
It got me thinking about the toughest stuff I've ever seen Oilers do and stay in the game or come back on the ice. So
yeah,
Smitty scooping his teeth. Remember that year?
Oh yeah, and when he accidentally broke the usher's arm.
What?
Yeah, so in the old dressing room, he came through the room and there was like the door right in 2006, and he's all mad and he opens the door. Well, he didn't know she was behind the door, and he broke her arm.
Oh no!
Yeah. He told that story in the show in one of our, I think that was in story time. He actually told us that.
Jeez. And then I was thinking about the year that Draisaitl had the injured leg in the playoffs. Remember that?
Oh, against yeah.
And he just kept playing through it. Yeah. And like half the audience was wincing with him every time he would skate.
Yeah.
What else can you remember of super tough stuff Oilers have done?
Yeah. Well, the Smith one, when he came back from the pronger slap shot, right? Kevin Lowe, if you go way back, played with his separated shoulder.
Yeah.
Mike Greer's shoulders.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Mike Greer, he was That guy was tough.
Oh, yeah.
But you could just see it, right? Like his one shoulder would be dropped down about a few inches, and then he'd come back like 2 shifts later. And you knew, and I actually played with a guy by the name of Rob Bernstad on our bench because I remember this. And I remember when I saw Greer do it, I'm like, I've seen that before. So we played junior hockey, and Rob, his shoulder would pop out, and you'd be out in the trainer, you'd be sitting on the bench, you'd be like, okay, hold him. And they'd pull it, and it would pop back in. And like, he'd be like, oh, it hurts. So he'd sit on the bench, he'd miss a few shifts, and then go back out and play. And I was like, this is unreal. But his shoulders are just so bad, like it almost popped out too easily.
I think every time you get a shoulder separation, it's easier thereafter to
100%,
get one.
yeah. But yeah, because the joint just becomes a lot looser. So
Zach Hyman is crossing over into legendary status in my mind. And the thing, like doing the interview where they're like, he's like, broken nose, all good. Like, you are one tough dude.
Well, that one was like the fact that his nose was so far out of his face. Like, but that's a great description of it. Sounded like a bag of chips. Like, it's funny because everybody can now hear the sound and they're like, oof, that's gross. So thanks again, everybody. It was a fantastic Pyramid of Giving. We'll be back on Monday. Little challenge Monday, something we've never done before. Looking forward to that. Wanye, have a great weekend. On behalf of Declan Kruger, Connor Halley, I'm Jason Gregor. Let's get to the Comment Sports 1440 update brought to you by the Canada-wide Clearance is on now at GMC. Get a $7,500 cash credit on a 2024 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab Elevation. See more at gmcoffers.ca. Good night. Please don't drink and drive. Be safe.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
Couple games going on right now in the NHL. After 20 minutes, the Leafs lead the Sabres 2-0. Canadians and Red Wings tied at 2 apiece. The Blues have a 1-0 lead over the Panthers, and Caps on top of the Hurricanes 1-0. Later tonight, Stars meet the Rangers, Utah's in Minnesota, and the Ducks taking on the Avalanche. In the association, Philly leads the Hornets 49-35, and the Cavs up on the Bucks 12-6 early in the first quarter. Later tonight, Thunder taking on the Heat. College football, we're a few minutes away from kickoff as number 7 Notre Dame takes on number 10 Indiana in the college football playoff first round. That'll go down in Notre Dame. Earlier today, Ohio over Jacksonville State 30-27, and Tulane falls to Florida 33-8. Around town tonight, we've got some great hockey. The Crusaders and the Saints meeting in Sherwood Park. They'll also meet tomorrow in Spruce Grove, both games starting at 7 o'clock. And in the AJ, Devon hosts Fort Mac. GP in Calgary, Canmore takes on Drumheller, and Camrose traveling to Drayton Valley. From the NFL, the Baltimore Ravens have placed wide receiver DeAndre Johnson on waivers. Baltimore acquired Johnson in a trade with the Panthers on October 29th, giving up a 5th-round draft pick for Johnson and a 6th-round selection. He only played 39 snaps in 4 games, 1 catch, 6 yards. That's going to do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Big thank you